Champions every Tuesday and Friday, and Super Lotto Plus every Wednesday and Saturday, you can win millions with the Ohio Lottery, 4 days a week, every week.
Continuing the tradition.
Here he goes. See you later. He's got it on the ricochet. Touchdown!
ABC Sports Championship Television.
They're the defending national champions. But when the nation's longest winning streak was halted last month in Madison, Jim Tressel's Buckeyes rebounded with a vengeance. Now the Bucs find themselves back in the championship hunt, where last year they celebrated the perfect season. Today, in Happy Valley, quarterback Craig Krenzel will try to add to the Buckeyes' storied tradition, while Penn State has a history of its own.
Get to the ball, let's go!
He's got 2 championships, 338 victories, but only 2 wins have come this season. Still, it's Joe Paterno who makes the Lions roar. The home team has won the last 7 times they've played. It's Ohio State and Penn State coming up next on ABC Sports. A spectacular November afternoon in Happy Valley, and on this Halloween weekend, they've turned out in droves for a Big Ten matchup. Come on inside, Joe Paterno. It's Ohio State. The Buckeyes have come to town to take on the Nittany Lions of Penn State. Hi, everybody. I'm Tim Brandt. Glad to have you along. Ohio State's only loss was 3 weeks ago in the rain, of course, to Wisconsin. But still, the Buckeyes control their own destiny in the Big Ten. If they win out, they are, in fact, the champs. And for the national hunt, well, they're still there, too. 1 loss, but they'll need a lot of help. For Penn State, well, this has been a rocky road all season. As a matter of fact, they've lost 4 games in a row, and never, I say never, have they lost 5 in a row under a Joe Paterno coach team here. Off the field, well, the travails of Tony Johnson and Tommy McHugh, that's been well documented. Johnson has now been suspended. McHugh has been dismissed. But with all that said, here in State College, they are still talking upset. Last night, they had a big pep rally called the Rally here in the Valley, and they called on the ghost of Nittany Lions past. And today, Zach is back. Zach Mills starts at quarterback. So we bring in Ed Cunningham. With all that said, is that enough?
It's going to be tough against this Ohio State defense, and even though Zach is now healthy after spraining his knee against Minnesota, he's going to have the type of game that he had last time that Ohio State came here. 418 yards of total offense, including 138 yards rushing in a comeback win for Joe Paterno. They'll get a little help, even though Penn State's defense is young up front. They're very good and sound in the secondary. Israel last week against Iowa had an 83-yard interception return for a touchdown, and he had another interception with Rich Gardner and Alan Zamitis at corner. That's a very good pass defense for Penn State, and they'll need to be very sharp. Ohio State finally found a little bit of offense last week, 603 yards against Indiana, and Lydell Ross, the guy that they think can finally replace Maurice Clarett in the backfield, had 160 yards, a career high, had a bum foot. It's finally healthy, and they play great defense, of course, at Ohio State. A.J. Hawk, true sophomore, leads the team in tackles. The fullbacks for Penn State better have their chin straps buckled and their mouthpieces in, because this guy will butt you.
And here come the young Nittany Lions of Penn State, led by Joe Paterno. A record of 2-6, 0-4 in the Big Ten. But hold on, folks. In the last 10 meetings between these two clubs, the home team is 9-1. And today, we're right smack in the middle of Happy Valley. A Big Ten matchup. The Buckeyes, the Nittany Lions. And it's coming up next.
We got a problem up here. Tower 12, weather's moving it.
Heading up.
Do you have the right truck? Does your truck have a Duramax diesel? Does it have an Allison transmission? Silverado. It's the right truck. From Chevy. Silverado is the only full-size pickup available with OnStar.
What a clutch performance. You see the flick of the wrist, Bob? This guy's a natural. You cannot teach that.
He's a veteran. This is exactly the type of heroics we come to expect from him in this job.
You know what I like about what he does? He looks to the white wire, then to the blue to confuse everyone, then he snips at the orange one. Proud sponsor of College Football Saturday.
I like the helmet. The helmet looks a lot like the ones we used to wear.
Little bit overcast, temperature in the mid-60s, a perfect day for football in the fall. The third member of our broadcast team, Sam Ryan, is with Joe Paterno.
At 2-6, you've called this a challenging season. You've been hearing it from the critics. Yet this team, you say you really like this group of guys. What is it about them that keeps you so positive?
They work hard. They're young. They're going to get better. You know, and anytime you're working with young people who want to get better, it's a challenge for you to coach better. We're going to be all right eventually. We're good enough today to be what I think is a great Ohio State football team. That remains to be seen, but we're going to be competitive.
Thank you very much, Joe.
Okay, thank you.
Absolutely no doubt that they will, in fact, be competitive. Take a look at the Big Ten standings. This is as it looks. Michigan today beating Michigan State. So Michigan goes to 5-1, 8-2 overall. Purdue 4-1, still very much in it. There's Ohio State, and Ohio State next plays Purdue, Michigan State, and Michigan.
Things could not be better right now for Jim Tressel. He said it's so much easier. You try to get your team to focus every single day. He said it helps when you're in the hunt to keep them focused on the day-to-day things.
Let's go back to Sam Ryan. Sam?
Jim, you control your own destiny as far as conference play is concerned. Still very much alive in the national hunt. Yet some of your assistants have said you guys cannot look past this Penn State team. What is it about them that really concerns you?
Well, Penn State is Penn State. Joe Paterno has coached so many wins and so many great teams, and there's great pride in being a Penn State football player. Just like I'd like to think there's great pride in being an Ohio State player. So if our minds and hearts and bodies aren't here this afternoon, we can forget about the rest.
Thank you, Jim. Good luck.
Thank you.
Jim Tressel now 28-6 at Ohio State, 16-4 in the Big Ten. Weather, as we said, it's in the 60s. Humidity, well, it's high. The wind is almost non-existent. Might get a shower or two, but the weather is just perfect for college football, and this is one of the best matchups you could ask for.
Penn State has not been very good. As a matter of fact, they're dead last in the Big Ten in returning kicks, under 14 yards per game. With the rally in the Valley last night and everything going on, I'd be really concerned if I was Ohio State for some kind of reverse.
Ohio State won the toss, deferred. Penn State receives. They want the ball to Lowry or Humphrey. Lowry out across the 21-yard line, and that's where Penn State will start. So the Nittany Lions go on offense, and we get our first look at the 6'5" junior who's number 2 here at Penn State in attempts and completions.
Zach Mills, quarterback, Imesville, Maryland, Urbana High School.
Zach Mills missed 2 games with a sprained knee. We will also see quarterback Michael Robinson today, who was more of a runner, although both of them will, well, they threw well in practice both this week in the indoor facility Thursday. We saw them, they were throwing darts. Here's Zach Mills, throws into the flat. He's got it complete. And Lukac has it for a gain of 7. Penn State's backs and receivers, here are your starters. You'll see a lot of guys moved in and out all day at every position, especially receiver. Austin Scott is the true freshman leading rusher. Leading receiver, Tony Johnson, is suspended for the 2nd straight game. Sean McHugh is solid. On the offensive line, only Levi Brown and Dave Koslow have started every game, and Brown was a defensive tackle. Everybody over 300 pounds except Koslow, who is 280. It's 2nd down and 4. This is Scott. Scott's around the corner and is very close to a Penn State first down. Principal Financial Group starting lineups defensively for Ohio State. 3 Lombardi Award candidates across the front. Scott, Anderson, and Smith. Frazier took over when Darian Scott graduated. 30 sacks out of the front 7. Linebackers Reynolds, Pugic, and A.J. Hawk. Boy, Hawk's good. He's motor just continues to run. 10 interceptions from the Buckeye defense this year. Dustin Fox has a couple of them, while Gamble is one of the best all-around athletes in the country. Allen and Sally are the safeties.
Tackled by A.J. Hawk. He's got amazing side-to-side speed. They protect him with that great defensive line. You remember number 47. He'll have a couple big hits here for us this afternoon.
Play action again on the waggle. Throw it away, and Zach Mills does. So Mills 1 for 2. Simon Frazier brought all the pressure.
Take a look at these teams numerically. Penn State on offense has not been great, and this has been part of the problem. You know, everybody wants to point to Tom Bradley's defense, but they just have not been very productive offensively. You mentioned the offensive line. They've rotated a lot of guys in and out. Zach Mills got hurt. They don't have a true running back they're hanging their hat on. And this defense, #1 in the nation in rushing yards, total yards. 3.7 yards per play is all the opposition averages against Ohio State.
Second down and 10. Austin Scott on the right side picks up a tough 2. Well, you're right. Last year, Penn State had Larry Johnson. He ran for 2,000 yards, and the offense lost 4 starters. And so, yeah, you look at these guys, and as I said, only Brown and Koslow have been the starters in every game.
Larry Johnson's gone. Bryant Johnson's gone. And Austin Scott comes in as a true freshman. I mean, Fran Ganther, who also coaches the running backs as well as the offensive coordinator, said, you know, last year I was a great running backs coach when my guy went over 2,000 yards. Now I got a couple of true freshmen back there. I'm not as good as I was last year.
Nittany Lions faced with their first 3rd down. They need 8. Out of the gun, Mills, screen pass. They're not going to get it. Converged on. Scott taken down by Reynolds.
You know, and the amazing part about this defense for Ohio State, I mean, think about the guys that Jim Tressel lost last year. Peterson, Grant, Wilhelm, all these guys come in, A.J. Hawk, and they still have unbelievable defensive speed.
So Jeremy Capitos comes in to punt it away for the Nittany Lions, and there is a dangerous return man. Oh my, you're talking about one of the best in Michael Jenkins. He's got speed, standing at his own 20. See if Capitos punts to it. He does. It's a high punt. Jenkins takes it at the 18. Coverage by Penn State, but the tackle's missed. But still, good special teams coverage, and this has been a big deficit for Penn State. Their special teams have been shaky. 43-yard punt, 8-yard return. So Ohio State goes on offense. We get our first look at the Buckeyes quarterback. He is a 6'4" molecular genetics major.
Craig Krenzel, Utica Ford High School, Sterling Heights, Michigan, 20-2 as starting quarterback.
Craig Krenzel is 225 pounds. He's a senior coming off a terrific performance against Indiana. He threw for almost 300 yards, hitting 19 of his 26 passes last week. Very smart quarterback who loves to compete. First down, end around. Get a look at Gamble. Gamble will play offense and defense, and Penn State's all over it. The Principal Financial Group starting lineups, backs, and receivers. Tailback Lydell Ross is the Big Ten Offensive Player of the Week after running for 167 yards last week. Santonio Holmes takes over for the injured Drew Carter. They call Michael Jenkins Mr. Clutch, 30 receptions this year. The offensive line is big. They're all over 300 pounds except for Mangold, the sophomore center. He's 280. They've done a nice job protecting Krenzel, but they are still looking for a consistent running game. This has not been an explosive offense most of the year. Here is Ross. Speaking of explosion, look out. Ross is loose. And all the way down to the 38-yard line before Harrell can make the tackle. A gain of 31.
And this is the play that Tom Bradley was so concerned about, the power. You get a double team here. The guard Clark's going to pull around right up into the hole. They ran this 20 times against Penn State last year. And I watched that Indiana film. The first quarter when Lydell Ross ran for 100 yards, they ran that on almost every single down. If you don't get that linebacker Capone coming up and hitting it, they're going to get beat down by that play.
Capone's got to get off the block. He got hung off.
He's got to meet the blocker in the hole. He cannot sit and wait for Clark to pull around.
He met the blocker, didn't get off of it, didn't read the play action, fake to Gamble, looking deep. Krenzel now will tuck it away. They've got him. A loss of 1. Tom Bahale got there for the sack. his 4th of the year. Defensively from Penn State, the front 7 has to take it up a notch. Hasn't been very good against the run. The D-line has 3 sophomores and Jay Alford, the redshirt freshman. Chisley will alternate with Rui, and Chisley has 4 sacks. Linebackers getting better. Tolles, Capone, and Wake. You saw Capone didn't get off the block, and Penn State leads the nation in pass defense. Zamitis and Gardner are the cover corners. Zamitis really having a nice year. Israel and Harrell are the safeties. 2nd down and 11. 3-step drop for Krenzel, throws to the out. He's got Holmes, and again, they're all over him. Good coverage by Zamitis, and I'm telling you, he is strong. Zamitis leads the Big Ten with 16 passes defended. He's also the 3rd leading tackler on this team.
And, you know, Tom Bradley, who's the defensive coordinator, also coaches the cornerbacks. And they've taken all the heat for how bad this defense is. You mentioned they lead the nation in passing yardage allowed. And everyone says, well, because everybody runs on it. But Zamitis, Gardner, Israel, these guys can play. That was a great break on the ball by Zamitis.
Brings up a 3rd down. Ohio State needs 7. The quick out. Gamble. He's got room. Penn State converges, but I don't think they got there quickly enough. Gamble may have gotten the first. He got a good mark.
And you got a feeling, talking to the Ohio State coaches, they weren't sure earlier in the week when we talked to them how much they wanted to use Gamble. But with Drew Carter, the 5th-year senior who hurt his knee last week against Indiana, this young man, because the weather's now changed earlier in the year, it was hot. They didn't want to risk him because they need him so much on defense. But the coaches, they say he has so much more fun playing the game when we allow him to play offense. And sometimes they think as long as the weather's okay, he'll play better defensively because he gets some offensive snaps.
Big measurement here for Penn State. Their key coming in was stopping the run, and so far they haven't been able to do it. 1st down, Ohio State. Penn State allows 216 yards rushing per game. That's 107th in the NCAA.
And this Gamble's a guy, he may get 2 periods a week on offense. And he does such a nice job. He knows the game. He's such a smart ball player that Jim Tressel said, you know, we don't have to get him a lot of reps on offense. And Krenzel yesterday said, hey, as long as he's over there for 1 period of practice, he knows it all.
Well, Chris Gamble was involved in over 100 plays in each of the last 4 games last year. So with 4 games remaining, it's time to gamble. You'll see a lot of them. Straight ahead they go, and Penn State converges. Pick up a 3.
We'll take a look at these 2 sides of the ball for Ohio State offensively and Penn State defensively. Numerically, you mentioned the yardage, 216. And, you know, everyone wants to point at that 128 and say, well, it's because they give up a lot of yards running. But you see early on, this secondary for Penn State, they have veteran guys. Zamitis is a future star. I mean, Joe Paterno says, this Zamitis young man, all he needs is a little bit of confidence, and he is going to be a special, special player, just a sophomore.
Penn State held Ohio State without an offensive touchdown last year, but the Buckeyes won at 13-7. Here's Krenzel, good protection, rolls right. Now he's going to tuck it away, ball's loose. And Penn State almost had it, but Ohio State gets it back. Shane Olivier out of Cedar here in Hurst, New York, gobbled it up.
And Penn State, you know, the coaches say with a young team, they're just waiting for someone to make that one play. They've only forced 9 turnovers this year, 3 coming by fumble. And that was Krenzel trying to change it. It looked like the ball batted his lineman. Excuse me, that's Lydell Ross. No, he was trying to tuck it away and lost control of it. And big old Olivier gets in there and helps him out.
Down Buckeyes. They need 4. 2 tight ends. Jenkins in motion. Play action. Underneath they go, and they didn't get it. Ryan Hamby made the catch, but is taken down immediately. Good play by Derek Tolles, the linebacker.
And I like it. Jim Tressel's going to go for it here on 4th and short. Why not? You've got a veteran quarterback. You've got so many things you can do, but this is a great tackle. Derek Tolles, who they have to limit his number of snaps in a game. He has a rare enzyme disorder. Had his most plays in a game for 3 years last week against Iowa, but I like this early by Coach Tressel.
Last year, Ohio State ran the power play 20 times against the Lions. This will be the 3rd one, I bet, on this drive. No quarterback sneak, and Krenzel gets it himself.
Well, and they go right over that right side. Nick Mangold is now the starting center, and Alex Stepanovich who missed 3 games. He sprained his ankle against San Diego State. Great push. You know, those young guys in there were no seniors in the 2 deep in that defensive front. And Mangold and Stepanovic just knocked Tom Bahali straight back. And Mangold, the reason he's kept that starting job is Stepanovic at right guard. You now have your 5 best linemen on the field for Ohio State.
Ohio State 24 of 29 in the red zone this year with 17 touchdowns. They give to Ross. He pushes the pile to the 13-yard line.
And there's that power play again.
Tom Bahali gets credit for the tackle. Tom Bahali, he was put into action the second game of this true freshman year. And now as a sophomore, he's the guy. He's got to be the run stopper, the hole clogger in the middle.
Well, that time, one of the adjustments right away Tom Bradley makes, that time they slanted their line towards the strength of the formation. Ohio State runs that power play towards the tight end or the split set. That time slanted his line towards the tight end. Holly, the nose guard, gets over there and makes the play.
Joe Paterno is going to find out a lot about his young club here today. They're taking a punch in the mouth right here early. Here's Krenzel. Rolls right and throws it away wisely outside the tackle box. But this is a very good, sustained, methodical drive by Ohio State, and the defense is hanging in there. But how they play the entire 4 quarters is going to tell Joe Paterno a lot about this club.
Well, that's the key. And I spent a lot of time yesterday with Tom Bradley. I was in watching film. He came and sat with me for about a half an hour. And you could hear in his voice, he's still excited. All these coaches are still really excited about this young team. But he said, this is the tough part. Long drives like this against a young defense starts to wear us out.
Ohio State spreads them sideline to sideline. Empty backfield. Only Krenzel is there. Throws. Holmes at the 2. Santonio Holmes, the 5'11", talented 170-pound freshman out of Belgrade, Florida, has Ohio State inside the 5 and knocking at the door. Santonio Holmes steps up for Drew Carter, who's out and injured.
Well, that was a little different formation that Jim Tressel and his offensive coordinator Jim Bowman threw at Penn State. They had Hamby, the tight end, lined up in the slot. He runs off, and then Santonio Holmes, who has great quickness, just sits right underneath of it. Nice play call.
A gain of 10. First down and goal, Buckeyes. Ross. Not going to get there. Again, Rice, Holly, Alford, and Chisley close down on him.
And how many times have they run this power already? It's a down, and around. Your right tackle and your right guard. Olivier Stepanovic get a double team at the point of attack, and Adrian Clark, the left guard, pulls around and gets up into it. He said we saw it 20 times last year when we played him. They've already seen it 4 or 5 times here in the opening drive.
Ross, right side, touchdown Buckeyes. Ohio State is on the board. Lydell Ross with a touchdown from 1 yard out.
I'll give you one guess. What play was that?
So with
another power.
Maurice Clarett gone, they've been searching for a running game. Last week it seemed to explode, but that was Indiana. They come in against Penn State. Very good drive, methodical, and Ross scores from the 1.
And Ross, a guy who was really struggling with a sore foot earlier in the year. We saw them against NC State, and he just could not push off it. He is finally healthy.
How impressive for the Buckeyes on that drive. Mike Nugent for the extra point. Good snap, good hold. And he adds one more. So Ohio State draws first blood. Lydell Ross, 14 plays, 74 yards.
Why do we work? Why do we get up every day and go to work? Because we make things, fix things, send our kids off to learn things. At the Principal Financial Group, we know you don't just work to retire, you work to live. That's why we give people the financial tools to help them keep more of the money they make and do more with the money they save. You work hard. We make work hard for you. The Principal Financial Group. We understand what you're working for.
Men don't like to shave. It hurts. What with the stinging, the redness, the pain. They'd rather do other things like light their shorts on fire or eat dirt. Easy, fellas. Nivea soothes the pain of shaving. Nivea for Men Aftershave Balm has moisturizers and vitamins to soothe and actually improve your skin. Hey, look at you. Now that wasn't so bad. Nivea for Men. More evolved skincare.
Wrangler 5-star premium quality denim. Wrangler, real, comfortable jeans.
Do you have the right truck? The 2004 Chevy Silverado now available with Power Packs. Get this Silverado extended cab with a light-duty Power Pack, Vortec V8, heavy-duty trailering. Plus the Safe and Sound Power Pack, XM satellite radio, Bose sound system, and the security of 1-year OnStar Safe and Sound service. Silverado, now available with Power Packs. It's the right truck.
A Wonderful World of Disney premiere event with a special introduction by John Travolta. Phenomenon 2, tonight only on ABC.
Craig Krenzel on that drive was sensational. They ran a lot of power plays, but when he needed the little waggle or the play action, he was 4 for 5, and the drive went 14 plays, 74 yards, and they ate up almost 7 minutes on the clock.
And Penn State is going to have to the next time they come out on defense, because Jim Tressel calls those plays. He's not going to stop calling that power. All good play callers. You don't stop it. I'm going to run it and wear it out.
Mike Nugent kicks off. And this will be Calvin Lowry, 4 yards deep, thinks about it, and then takes a knee. Maurice Humphrey, number 5, was there telling him, take that knee, and the touchback. They bring it out to the 20. Next Saturday at noon Eastern, most of you will see Michigan State face another huge test as they take on Ohio State, or Tennessee, Miami, Texas A&M, Oklahoma. Check your local listings for the game in your area as we come down the stretch of this season. And we will follow it all the way to New Orleans in the Sugar Bowl for the national title.
People looking at Ohio State saying, the one loss. But if you look at the way their schedule sets up, the destiny is controlled in the Big Ten. And you got to think with Purdue, Michigan State, Michigan on that schedule, if they went out and somebody loses above them, one of the undefeated, they got a shot.
On the option, Austin Scott bobbling the ball as he goes out of bounds. But a pretty nice pickup, run out of bounds by Dustin Fox, number 37. He's OSU's most experienced quarterback. There he is. Came to OSU as a safety, now playing corner.
His brother Derek was a safety here. Late 90s for Penn State. Zach Mills looks fine on that left knee. Still a little gimpy. What in the world was Austin doing with that ball? Got stuck on his hip when he caught the pitch. But Mills healthy enough to run that option. They're going to need it.
So it brings up 2nd down and 6. Penn State needs to get a drive going here to give the defense a little breather. Here he hits his tight end on a quick little hook. They've got the first down. They move it out to the 37-yard line. And Lukac has his 2nd catch of the day. Mike Lukac, 6'3", 253-pound, 5th-year senior out of Quarry, Pennsylvania, a pickup of 14.
And you know what I really like about this is how he finishes this run. Lukac was a running back and a fullback in high school. Take a look as he just clears out. But watch as he finishes this run with the stiff arm. That's gorgeous. You're allowed to go up towards the face. He's going up against Pugic there. As long as the offender does not move that face mask and grab it, that's a nice stiff arm.
Former walk-on and took over last year. Here's the option again. Not much. Austin Scott picks up a tough couple of yards. Nate Sally makes the tackle on him.
Well, the key to defending the option is A, penetration by the defensive end. That time it was Simon Frazier who was left unblocked. Did a really nice job of making Zach Mills stretch it out, but then inside out speed. Your linebackers and your safety support have to come from inside out right now. Good running.
Well, unlike the triple option where it's individual and breaks you down individual assignments defensively, that's just a very simple option, which is a pursuit option for the defense.
Just run, man. Just get to the ball.
2nd down and 8. Here comes Zach Mills. He's got a blocker. Cuts inside. Look out. Mills out to midfield. He's got the first down. Nate Sally makes the tackle, but a pickup of 10.
Now he's got a convoy.
Talking to Dr. Sebastianelli at practice the other day, I said, hey, Doc, how's Zach's knee? He says he's 100% finally.
And Lukac, the tight end, gets a block, and you've got Levi Brown and Charles Rush out there. He's pushing Rush around saying, come on, get going, big fella. He does. He looks, you know, in that game last week, he didn't quite look 100%, but Thursday practicing right now, he looks like he's all the way back.
First down, Nittany Lions, trying to get into Ohio State territory for the first time this afternoon. Here's Humphrey. Humphrey in Ohio State territory. Ball came loose well after he hit the ground, so no fumble.
And Humphrey, a guy who, with everything that's gone on at receiver, of course, Bryant Johnson got drafted to the Arizona Cardinals. And Humphrey, a guy who was a cornerback. A.J. Hawk coming in there. Puggich.
Take it back.
Out.
The ball
was out, yeah.
I take it back.
And Will Smith,
was loose.
Will Smith, who is all over the field, making a nice play, getting his right arm in there and knocked the ball out.
Second down and 8. Again, Scott has nowhere to run. Loses a couple of yardage.
But Maurice Humphrey was a cornerback until the second week of the season. As Terrence Phillips runs in, you're going to see a lot of guys that you haven't heard about playing receiver for Penn State. And Joe Paterno sat down with Frank Ganner, his offensive coordinator, and said, you know, all of these young guys, we're not going to be able to make a lot of adjustments, a lot of hot reads. Let's pick 4 or 5 routes that they run well, and let's just continually run them. I don't want these guys having to think.
Third down and 10 back at midfield. Mills with time throws deep, and it's caught. Terrence Phillips is inside the 25-yard line. They mark it at the 22. Phillips with a big pickup of 23.
And this was all set up because Matt Kranchik, the converted wide receiver tight end, goes vertical to that side, and the safety has to run with him. The safety who's coming over the top, Dante Whitner, has to respect Kranchik because Kranchik has wide receiver speed, and that's why the over-the-top is open in that cover 2.
First down option. Austin Scott around the corner, and he's inside the 20. Nate Sally again, the third leading tackler, but so far in this game, he's the leading tackler for Ohio State. At the conclusion of today's game, we will select a Chevrolet player of the game from each team. Chevrolet will make a $1,000 contribution to each university's general scholarship fund. 7-0 Ohio State, 1:43 remaining in the first period here at Beaver Stadium. State College, Pennsylvania. Tim Brandt, Ed Cunningham, Samantha Ryan here in Happy Valley and enjoying Halloween weekend. Out of the guns, Mills, blue pass inside to McHugh. Sean McHugh's inside the 10, to the 5, McHugh to the 3. Sean McHugh, the fifth-year senior, with an 18-yard pickup. He doesn't get many carries, but he makes them count. He's had 15 first downs and 3 touchdowns this year with very few touches.
And this is where your defensive speed sometimes hurts you because this is great penetration. Puggich coming on a blitz. He vacates the middle. Little shovel pass to the tight end. McHugh, who's a great receiver out of the backfield, nearly finishes that with 6 points.
So far, this has looked like the Penn State, Ohio State games of old. First down and goal. Austin Scott can't shake loose, and again, it's Nate Sally. Boy, we've called his name a lot.
Nate Sally, one of those sophomores that Mark D'Antonio, the defensive coordinator, said, I have some sophomores, guys. We've already seen, we talked about A.J. Hawk. This is another guy, played as a true freshman in every game last year. Played a little bit of basketball during the offseason, but he said, I've got a bunch of young guys who like to play, they like to practice, and they are concerned about how tough they are and their perception as ball players.
30 seconds remain in the first period. Second down and goal for Penn State. Mills throws it away. Did they mark him down? He was outside the tackle box.
What a great play.
Ohio State wanted the sack.
He's being chased by Bobby Carpenter, and Zach Mills uses his offhand to keep his balance and throw this away.
Watch his knee.
Wow, that's
still
an unbelievable athletic play by Zach Mills.
A great no call by the officials.
I try to move the pocket again, though, here. Get him out of the pocket.
Third down and goal. Looking in the end zone. Needs help. Throws to the corner. Touchdown, Sean McHugh. And how about Zach Mills? Zach is back.
And this is why Joe Paterno started Zach Mills instead of Michael Robinson. Robinson, a great athlete, great running the ball, but Zach Mills more of a pure quarterback, and we saw some great athleticism on that drive by Mills.
Mills, 7 for 9, 74 yards. His biggest play may have been the incompletion,
no question,
throwing it away. The extra point attempt by Kimball is good. 12 seconds remain in the first. We're tied at 7. And how about this pass and catch? Mills to McHugh.
I break for yard sales.
I break for animals.
I break for
chocolate. My grandkids.
Boys.
I break for little old ladies.
Bingo.
UFOs.
I break for free oil changes. Visit your Midas mechanic now and get a free oil change with any Midas brake job, including installation of our lifetime guaranteed brakes. That's a free oil change. And brake pads or shoes guaranteed for as long as you own your car.
I break for no apparent reason.
So we have a decision to make. When comparing high-speed wireless data networks, Sprint is nearly twice as fast as AT&T Wireless.
So we'll get email attachments faster. Let's check out Sprint.
I was late. Can I see the demo?
I think once is enough.
Get wireless data nearly twice as fast. Get the facts at Sprint.com. One Sprint, many solutions.
Simple, really. If we could get everybody in the country to drive the all-new Chevy Malibu, we think you'd agree. It's just about perfect.
ABC Sports presentation of college football is brought to you by SPC, going beyond the call. Dr. Pepper and your local Dr. Pepper bottler. Be you. Nothing's better. Dr. Pepper. The new Chevy Malibu and your local Chevy dealers. And by Midas. Visit your local Midas mechanic today. Aerial views today looking spectacular. Aerial coverage provided by Outback Steakhouse. They've been up in that blimp the last several days, and the people here in Happy Valley love it. Matter of fact, we all stopped by Outback the other night.
They're wearing that thing out. They've been here since Tuesday flying around State College.
The Valley has never looked better. Temperatures have been spectacular. Yesterday, 75. Today, right in the mid-60s. Kimball's kick is just out of here. So David Kimball with that strong leg, and the coaches always talk about his strong leg. He shows it there.
22 of 34 kicks now on the season. Not returned by the opposition.
Folks, this is the only stadium in the conference where the Buckeye seniors have never won. It's right here in Beaver Stadium. We'll be back.
On the road and stuck trying to get business email in all the wrong places? Get Verizon Wireless Remote Email Access. Stay productive and in touch when you're away from the office.
Can you hear me now? Good.
Now ask how you can save up to $200 on select wireless PDAs and BlackBerry devices.
Verizon Wireless. We never stop working for you.
3 minutes to go in the period. Third down. The ball is at the 4-yard line.
Here's my man. Come on.
Watch.
Here we go. All right, showtime.
Pepsi and Lay's, official sponsors of the NFL.
First there was 1 blade, then 2, then 3. But 4 blades? Give me a break, right? Wrong. The new Schick Quattro has the power of 4 blades and 2 conditioning strips, which makes Quattro unlike any other razor. And those 4 blades give you an incredibly close, smooth shave. So your 5 o'clock shadow shows up late. 4 blades. Where will it stop? Here. Shit Quattro, the power of 4.
Sunday, when a rookie's falsely accused, his training officer will risk all to clear his name.
Get out of my face, deputy.
Get out of here.
An all-new 10/8 ABC Sunday, 8/7 Central.
The defending national champions are in town, and the stadium is full. 12 seconds remain in the first quarter. We're tied at 7. You look at the offensive production, Ed, not bad. That's Big Ten football.
Penn State needed to get something going. Their defense was on the field for 14 plays in that first drive. Young defense getting some rest over there.
Krenzel with plenty of time as he rolls right. Now gets a little bit of pressure, and the ball is batted away by Levon Chisley. Levon Chisley played in every game last year, but he's still very young. But he's a tall guy with good feet and a great arm extension, and he knocks that one down.
He's 6'5", but he is longer than that. His arms look like they belong on about a 7-footer. Saw him the other day out at practice, and when you talk to the opposing coaches, they always talk about number 17. He's so athletic, always moving around. He's always batting balls down. Good pressure early. Tom Bradley doing a couple things, got some stunts. Not as many blitzes as you would expect from Penn State, but his front four making some things happen.
Brandon Joe comes in. He's in the backfield now. Tries to slip out as Krenzel goes around the right corner. Krenzel gets a block and is knocked out of bounds at just about the 26-yard line by Alan Zamitis. Receivers blocked for Ohio State. This is a fundamentally sound football team and extremely well coached.
Yeah, I don't know that you're going to find a team in the country coached better than Jim Tressel and his staff has these guys coached up on a weekly basis.
That's the end of the first 15 minutes. The first quarter comes to an end, and we are tied. Ohio State 7, Penn State 7 in State College.
Simple, really. If we could get everybody in the country to drive the all-new Chevy Malibu, we think they'd agree. It's just about perfect.
After a few years, the little lady might not be as little as she'd like. If a man knows what's good for him, he'll sympathize with her dietary struggles. Show her you're willing to climb down into that foxhole with her. Tell her straight up, for the next 12 ounces, I'll be counting calories with you. That's sensitivity. That's the light way to live. The high life.
Introducing a whole new line of over 30 power tools from Rigid that'll seriously outperform what you're using now. With exact line laser precision, batteries that charge in half the time, more torque, and the best warranty in the business. But the attachment that says the most about these tools? The pros who swear by them. Rigid, powerful, durable, professional. Buy them now at the Home Depot.
A pregnant woman washes up on shore in an unthinkable crime.
What about the boyfriend?
Do you think he could have hurt her? That's what love does.
L.A. Dragnet, ABC Tonight, 10/9 Central.
Say it. Are you ready for some football?
Pats Broncos Monday night. It's truck season. Time to celebrate Ford truck leadership with great deals on a huge inventory of 2003 F-150s that must be cleared out. Get a $3,500 cash rebate. That's right, a $3,500 rebate or 0% financing on F-150. But hurry, $3,500 cash on F-150 won't last long. Truck season. At your Greater Cincinnati Ford dealers, home of the next F-150. Be there.
Ready to start the second 15 in State College. Ohio State, Penn State tied at 7. Ohio State controls its own destiny. Win out, it wins the Big Ten title. Still has an outside shot at the national championship. Still very much in the hunt with one loss. Of course, they'll need some help from Oklahoma and Miami at the top. Miami with a big game tonight at Virginia Tech. 3rd down and 3 for Krenzel and the Buckeyes.
Watch some kind of draw. Somebody's got to stay home on the defensive front.
Krenzel's got plenty of time. Throws to Holmes, but throws behind him. Good coverage by Penn State, but a poor throw by Krenzel. Let's go back to Manhattan. Here's John Saunders. John?
And the BCS Spotlight game presented by ADT update. Oklahoma State. Kewan Jones 2 yards out. Oklahoma's been able to move the ball with ease. Right now, sitting on a 10-0 lead late in the first quarter.
All right, John, not much defense for Oklahoma State. I think this is the year that Oklahoma does take them and takes them rather handily. This punt gets a great Ohio State bounce that takes you all the way down inside the 11. A 63-yard punt.
You know, with Drew Carter out, Santonio Holmes has to step up as a freshman. You wonder if he cut off his route too soon, because Krenzel, his elbow's finally healthy. He's been more accurate. He was great with his accuracy last week. You got to wonder if a young guy missed his route.
Well, B.J. Sander averages 43 yards a punt. His 63-yard punt backs up Penn State.
Allstate presents Good Hands Flashback. In 1994, Michigan led Colorado 26-21 with 6 seconds remaining.
3 wide outs at the top of the picture. Stewart with time. Lets it go. He's got 3 people down there. The ball's up in the air. Caught. Touchdown. Caught by Westbrook for a touchdown.
Let's say this is you, and this is your auto insurance company. You've always gotten along okay, but let's say this is Allstate. Ooh, looks better than what you got now, huh? Well, qualified drivers who call Allstate for a free auto quote can get a company this good for this kind of price, maybe less. The choice is pretty simple, don't you think? So call Allstate now for an auto quote and find out how you're in good hands with Allstate.
For our lowest rate on a great car, go thrifty.com.
When love is all we need. All we need. Don't you find that ironical? When love is all we need. Oh, yeah. Oh.
PT Cruiser. Total Quality Award winner 3 years running.
For our lowest rate on a great car, go thrifty.com.
Sunday, an enemy from the past will bring ex-lovers closer together.
Let's go.
Alias starting at 9/8 Central on ABC.
Joe Paterno in his 54th year at Penn State, 38th season as head coach, and 338 career wins. First down, Penn State. 14:45 to play in the first half, deadlocked at 7. Pitch back. Not much on the corner. Austin Scott hasn't been able to get around the corner all the first period. Let's go down to Sam.
Well, Tim, Sean McHugh is from Ohio. He says there was a lot of local pressure for him to go to Ohio State, but he's become a real team leader for Penn State. Now, Fran Ganter said this kid wants to win in the worst way. He actually gets dry heaves before games, during meetings and practices. His toughest battle came a year and a half ago. His mom passed away of cancer. His dad has been there for him every step of the way, and today he made Dad proud.
Sure did. Here's Austin Scott again. He's got to hold on to that ball. Tackled by Tim Anderson. Talk about Sean McHugh. He's got 4 touchdowns on the year. That was his first career touchdown catch.
He's a guy who's been a leader, a senior. So many young players. We've talked about the young guys on defense for Joe Paterno, but offensively, so inexperienced up front. The wide receivers, all new guys. And he has nobody outworks him in practice. Nobody stays later than him. Frank Ganner is his position coach and said, it's going to be such a shame when we lose him next year, not only for his on the field, how he plays, but what he does in practice in the meeting room.
Penn State has 3rd down and long. Mills steps up. He's under pressure, throws the out pattern, incomplete. They'll have to punt it away. It was intended for Terrence Phillips, but I think Mills was right in throwing the ball away. He was well covered. Some of Zach Mills' best passes are incompletions.
Well, this is a part of the game that Penn State has really struggled. The last 3 ball games, they've given up a touchdown with this unit. Last week against Iowa, they had 1 blocked. They've had 2 returned, 1 against Wisconsin, 1 against Purdue. And with Ohio State looking like they might rush here.
Well, they're going to get great field position. Ohio State has a great opportunity here. Capino standing back in his end zone, and Jenkins is extremely dangerous as a return guy. This is a good punt, a high punt. Jenkins takes it at the 38. He's got speed. He's looking for the wall, but great coverage by Penn State. Paul Posluszny got it after a 52-yard punt, and there is a flag at the 36-yard line.
Well, they may not get the field position they thought. Nice job by Yaakov Yisrael, guy who had a great game last week. Ran right by, he got to the outside and made Jenkins redirect. And then Posluszny, a true freshman that the coaches have such high hopes for, makes an excellent special teams play.
Well, special teams have hurt Penn State so badly this year that Joe was really concerned about how they would play today.
How about Thursday at practice?
Never seen Joe Paterno like
They
that.
must have done punt coverage for a half an hour. And Joe lost his mind on every one. Somebody did something wrong on every single one.
Joe's hot.
Yeah, he is a pretty good-looking guy.
No, I mean, he's hot at the officials. There's some confusion about this call.
He spent 2 years being hot at the officials, and most of the time he's had a right to be.
Face mask on the receiving team. The penalty occurred at the line of scrimmage. It's been declined. First down.
So Steve Pittman, the referee, gets them all squared away, and
somebody needs to tell Steve that the cameras are on this side.
Joe now laughs. He says, "Come on, fellas,
get it right."
But about Thursday's practice, I told Joe this yesterday. We had lunch with Joe yesterday, and I told him, I said, Joe, I've never seen you like that before. He was running back and forth. He was yelling and screaming, and here are the special teams miscues we were talking about.
And they've been, I know it's early, but they already look better. Guys are covering harder. Posluszny did a great job of running by his blocker that time. Great hustle.
First down, Buckeyes, and the Buckeyes have been extremely strong offensively today. Here they run again, straight up the middle, and Lydell Ross is close to another first down, just about a yard short. All right, it's time for the Aflac trivia question. As a head coach, how many unbeaten, untied seasons has Joe Paterno coached?
Can I give my hint?
Sure, go ahead.
Well, it's going to be a red herring. He's won 2 national championships. I don't know if that gives you any help or not.
It's a big hint. 2nd down and 1. Stutter steps and gets across midfield. Has enough for the first. They'll move the chains. Lydell Ross has had over 1,000 yards over the last 2 years as a backup. Now he's a starter out of Tampa, Florida. He's got that Florida speed.
I am starting to wonder if Ohio State has a different running play than the power. I mean, they have now they're running it. They were running it to the left side, pulling towards the right side that time. Actually, they've run it every time to the right side. That time they had Mike Nee in there at guard. He's still in there. He's the one pulling. Adrian Clark must be tired from all the pulling he's doing.
Ross, big hole. Cuts to the outside. Look out. First down, Buckeyes. A gain of 12.
And it doesn't matter. Just call. You don't have to get creative. Watch the double team right here. Olivier and Hartsock, and then Knee's going to pull around. And look at the size of the hole that he gets to run through. You do a little stutter step, find the guy to block. Great job by Olivier. The right tackle came off on Jay Alford, the defensive tackle, right at the right time, picked him up, and they're just going to wear this play out until Penn State stops it.
Ross, 8 carries, 60 yards. He's got another big hole, picks up a chunky yardage there. Well, at practice on Thursday, Paterno yelled at his defense, especially the defensive front, Rice and Holly and Alford and Chisley, and he told him, Ohio State's backs aren't big, but they aren't dumb either. And he says they've got hearts as big as you are. He says they run hard, so you're going to have to play hard. And so far, Ross has had a lot of success.
Well, and the hard part for Tom Bradley against this power play, which they just ran again, is they have such good gap control, Ohio State does. He says, if I blitz, they're just going to pick us up, and if they get to the second level, nobody's home.
Ross trying to get outside, breaks the tackle and gets to the 30. Well, he's not small, though, 210 pounds. And he gets a lot of yaks, yards after contact.
Well, and this was a nice run here because they're trying to run again the power, which is basically right at the tackle box. Wherever the double team happens, that's where the guard's going to pull around. Hartsock does a nice job. Rui gets by Hamby, but he just doesn't have his feet up underneath of him to make a tackle, and Ross goes ahead and picks up 4 or 5 yards. Run it again. Why not?
See the third down conversions. The Buckeyes need a long 2. Throws the out. Pattern intercepted. Look out. Zamitis. He's got room. Only Krenzel to get him. He goes by Krenzel, and Zamitis is gone. Touchdown, Penn State. A 78-yard interception return, and Zamitis, who leads the Big Ten with 16 passes defended, has his 4th interception of the year and his 2nd touchdown.
Right at the beginning of the game, we talked about the strength of this Penn State team. Rich Gardner, Yaakov Yisrael, and that man, Alan Zamitis, who had a 90-yard interception return against Purdue, and he didn't score that time, 78 yards for the touchdown, and he read the outcut by Jenkins beautifully.
David Kimball's extra point is good. And on Halloween weekend, it's frightening in here. All week long, the people in State College, Pennsylvania, have been saying upset. They feel the upset, and Zamitis is trying to make it happen.
What do people see in the new Chrysler Pacifica?
I see a woman who knows how to relax.
I see a man who knows where he's going in the world.
I see a painter, a parent, an individual.
I see a mom and a dad who are completely behind their kids.
Introducing the Chrysler Pacifica, well beyond the SUV.
Hey, man, hey, call me right back. All right, thanks.
Do your music ringtones sound this real? Download Singular Supertones instantly and easily from our huge library of great songs. Supertones, another way Singular fits you best.
Hey, hand me that there,
French?
Yeah. Oh! What do you think? I got that insurance or something?
What?
It puts money in your wallet in case you're like flat on your back.
What? Never heard of it.
Well, you can get it at work.
Get what?
Aflac. Ask about it at work.
ABC Sports presentation of college football is brought to you by Singular, the wireless company that fits you best. The Chrysler PT Cruiser, customize your life. And by Pacific Life, offering insurance, annuities, and investments.
This crowd of 100,000 plus needed a big play, and they got one. Zamitis, just a sophomore, missed a start earlier in the year because Joe Paterno thought he should be playing a little better with all that talent. And Joe said with all of that confidence and all of that ability, I expect him to make big plays, and that was humongous.
David Kimball again puts this one out of here. It goes through the uprights and the crowd goes crazy. Well, let's say this. The Buckeyes started with a very solid, methodical drive and put 7 on the board. And we said then, Penn State is taking a shot in the mouth here. We have to see how they respond. And they've responded with 14 points.
Well, if we take a look at the all-22 of that play, it was absolutely perfect coverage. As Jenkins goes to break on the outcut, it's cover 3, so Zornes is peeking right back into the backfield, and Krenzel never looked anywhere else but to Jenkins. And right as Jenkins went to cut, Zornes broke right underneath, and they made a great move on Krenzel for the touchdown.
Here's Ross, power, right side. Carries tacklers ahead for 4. Well, in 2001, the Buckeyes led Penn State by 18 points, 3 minutes into the second half. But Penn State came back to win. That's when Steve Belisari was a quarterback. Craig Krenzel said they've never forgotten that. Anytime you play Penn State, you've got to be alert because it's a Joe Paterno coach team, and they've got to fight tooth and nail all the way until the end.
Well, you hear this from a lot of coaches when you talk to them. When you watch this team, Joe Paterno, you see how young they are, but they do have talent. It's not like the cupboard is bare right now.
Second down and 6. Ross spins, and he's going nowhere. Taken down by Jay Alford. Let's go back to Manhattan and John Saunders. John?
Taco Bell update, Oklahoma against Oklahoma State. Kewan Jones, they've called his number once. They call it again, and another touchdown. The Sooners trying to make sure they don't get beat 3 years in a row by Oklahoma State, up 17-0.
Third down and 7 here, and the fans are on their feet.
And this is where Tom Bradley has not called a lot of blitzes for Penn State. Not sure that he needs to here, but maybe just to get that crowd involved even more.
Out of the gun, Krenzel steps up, and now the whistle stops the play. It's going to be a delay of game against Ohio State.
Prior to the snap, delay of game, offense. 5 yards.
Well, we told you that it was deafening in here and that the crowd was on its feet, and obviously it caused some problems for Krenzel. Asked you the Aflac trivia question. As a head coach, how many unbeaten, untied seasons has Joe Paterno coached? And the answer is 5. 68, 69, 73 when I was at Maryland. And then he got the last 2, but they've won 2 national titles. Third down and 12. Pressure. And down goes Krenzel. Phillips got there first along with Gino Capone. So far, Tom Bradley, the defensive coordinator, is on his game.
He is calling a beautiful game on 3rd and long that time. They're going to bring Phillips from the outside, and the linebacker, they just can't. There's nobody out there. You bring more to that side. You only have 2 blockers. Hartsock was coming on an inside, and Phillips with just way too much speed gets there first.
DJ Sander comes on to punt. His last punt was 63 yards. This will be Humphrey, who has to come up to get it, gets it on the run, and returns it to the 45-yard line. So all of a sudden, the game of field position has changed also, and the Nittany Lions will have good field position here. A 42-yard punt, a 4-yard return. 7:44 to play in the half as the sun sets in Happy Valley.
In 1868, an American tradition was beginning, and Pacific Life was founded, both built on principles of persistence, performance, and strength. 135 years later, those beliefs still guide Pacific Life. It's how we help so many businesses and individuals reach their financial goals. For insurance, annuities, and investments, rely on the strength of Pacific Life. Proud sponsor of the Pacific Life Holiday Bowl.
Taco Bell's Zesty Chicken Bowl. Grilled all-white meat chicken, seasoned rice, cheese, lettuce, and fiesta salsa. Made right when you order it. For a fresh taste that's hard to top. Show off. For fresh-made taste, think outside the bun.
When love is all we
Budweiser. Total Quality Award winner 3 years running.
Men don't like to shave. They'd rather light their shorts on fire or eat dirt. Easy, fellas. Nivea soothes the pain of shaving. With moisturizers and vitamins, Nivea for Men Aftershave Balm soothes and improves. Nivea for Men. More evolved skincare.
He was forced to defend a white supremacist, and you won't believe what he'll do to win the case.
It's a lie.
It can get you acquitted. All new practice, ABC Sunday, 10/9 Central.
Penn State will have its best starting field position by a long shot, more than 20 yards. Ball's at the 45-yard line, and so that's where Zach Mills and the Nittany Lions take over. First down, Penn State. Hawk shows blitz. They come. Ball's loose, incomplete. I want to tell you something. Humphrey makes that catch, and he's got a big gainer.
Yes, he does.
I think he was looking at the headlines and lost sight of the ball.
Cornerback for the first 2 weeks of the season. They had no playmakers at receiver. Tony Johnson was struggling.
Boy, this is set up perfectly.
Great throw. You know what he does? And a lot of young receivers do that. They let the ball get into their pads. Put your hands in front of this ball. You can't cradle it. The only time you cradle is if you're falling down. Don't let it
hit his chest plate.
Yeah, that's hard. It's a hard plastic surface. You got to get your hands in front of the ball.
So that changes things for Mills. He throws a little swing pass, and Austin Scott goes down, just tripped, and they lose yardage. Coming up on the Capital One halftime show, we'll get a peek at John, Terry, and Craig's Heisman ballots and highlights for Survival Saturday's biggest games, and we've had some big ones today. Michigan, Michigan State, Oklahoma, Oklahoma State playing right now. Tonight it's Miami and Virginia Tech down in Blacksburg. And Ohio State mascot Brutus the Buckeye, one of the finalists for Capital One Mascot of the Year. And folks, he is truly one of the greatest. Brutus putting on a show for the folks here in Happy Valley as Zach Mills throws a strike to Gerald Smith, and Zach Mills is putting on a show for the people here in Beaver Stadium.
He looks on rhythm, and Fran Ganter, we've talked about Tom Bradley. Gerald Smith got shot right in the back as the underneath safety allows Smith to go. And Sally comes up and puts his helmet right in the back.
Well, Smith picks up 23. He was the third wide receiver last year. And when Brian Johnson left, Gerald took over, and he takes a pretty good shot there.
You know what? And that's in the NFL, that's a fine. That's a big fine. That's a helmet-to-helmet hit. Sally ducked his head, and it's all about safety. It's not a dirty play, Sally. That's just it's just a natural reaction. But when you duck your head, a bad thing can happen to you, and a bad thing can happen to the offensive player. If Sally were playing for a paycheck, it'd be a little bit lighter on Monday.
Wow.
That's and it's not a dirty play. It just the referees have to watch that.
Too.
Yes,
he knocked that ball loose.
And knocked the receiver.
That's a good aggressive play though by the DB. So anyway, it's first down, and Zach Mills loses yardage on what was a called quarterback draw. Boy, Hawk got pressure again. A.J. Hawk is some kind of special. He's the leading tackler for the Buckeyes. 5 tackles last week, 2 for tackles for loss. Always around the ball. He's got 4 sacks, 2 interceptions, and he's 6'2", 230, and only a sophomore. You think he doesn't have a career in front of him?
He's outside linebacker. We were sitting there talking to Coach Dressel yesterday, and when they were recruiting A.J. Hawk, and let's hope Gerald Smith's okay, because that was a heck of a shot. But when they were recruiting Hawk, he said, yeah, it's probably either you guys or Penn State. Those are the 2 programs that with blue collar, old school. That's the way I want to play.
Second down and 12. Donnie Johnson comes into the ball game. Mills throws a strike, and Lukac is out close to another first down. He's got 3 catches. He'll be a yard short. But Mike Lukac is playing, and I mean playing hard. He's got 3 catches today. So Mills just passed Kerry Collins on the career total offense. Zach Mills came in looking at or holding so many records. Number 2 all-time here at Penn State in attempts and completions. Well, you go ahead and Kerry Collins, you're doing something. 3rd down and 1. They need a yard. They're not going to get it. Tony Hunt is hit immediately. Boy, those linebackers fill, and they fill with bad intentions.
And it all starts up front for Ohio State. They are so deep and talented on their defensive front. They allow guys like Hawk and Reynolds and Puggich.
And Will Allen, the safety.
Really good pursuit. Look at that. 47 is untouched. And that was the other thing Tressel said about A.J. Hawk. He appreciates the fact that things are very simple right now because of that great defensive line.
Boy, the way they play Ed is special. You see Will Allen come up in a banjo look. He cheats up. He takes on the lead blocker, allows Hawk to come through.
Guys to go.
A 42-yard field goal attempt now by David Kimball. He's got a strong leg, but this is a long one. He's got plenty of distance. And Kimball nails it.
Kimball, the senior, taking over for the struggling Robbie Gould, a senior from State College Area High School right here in State College. That is his first career field goal. He had 3 attempts back in 2000. Just broke the seal.
David Kimball from 42 yards, and this one could have been good from 60.
I will not be afraid of the dark.
I will not feel guilty leaving my dog alone.
I will know my children are safe.
I will finally be able to relax!
At ADT, we help more people feel safe in more ways than any other security company. A single ADT system can help protect your home and family from burglary, fire, and carbon monoxide for $0 down. Plus, save up to 20% off your homeowner's insurance. Call 1-800-ADT-ASAP.
First, I emptied the checking account, and then I hit the mall, and there in the window was this sexy little outfit, and oh my gosh, I just had to have it. $1,500 for a leather bustier? I didn't care. It lifts and separates. Plus, it's not like I'm actually paying for it.
Introducing Citi Identity Theft Solutions, free with any Citi card. Help getting your life back? That's using your card wisely.
At BASF, we don't make the golf clubs. We make them more powerful. We don't make a lot of the products you buy. We make a lot of the products you buy better. BASF.
Spicy garlic shrimp, fire-grilled chicken, and our famous baby back ribs. Chili's Fajita Trio. Want more flavor?
Yeah.
They're enjoying the party here at Beaver Stadium this afternoon. More than 100,000 have jammed in to watch this Big Ten matchup. And again, we tell you, Ohio State controls its own destiny. They win out. They win the Big Ten title. But the Penn State faithful say, hey, listen, we're overdue. They've been giving Joe all kinds of problems here in State College, especially the writers. And they came out today ready to play football. Penn State leads 17-7. This touchback will bring it out to the 20, and that's where the Buckeyes will start.
And Kerry Collins just got passed by Zach Mills for total career yards to number 2. And Todd Blackledge just got left in the dust by Zach Mills, just a junior, for total career passing yards. Zach now 4th behind Kerry Collins, Chuck Facina, and an old teammate of mine with the Arizona Cardinals, Tony Sacca. And Tony Sacca still leads Penn State in the best Joe Paterno impersonation. He's got one of the best.
First down, Ohio State. Ross looking for openings and can't find much, but picks up 3. Lydell Ross picking up yardage, and he's hit by Israel for the 3-yard gain. If Oklahoma or Miami lose, folks, who should be ranked number 2 in the BCS standings? Here's your singular wireless poll question of the day. Florida State, Georgia, Southern Cal, Miami, even if they lose, Oklahoma, even if they lose. To vote, log on to ESPN.com, keyword singular, or wireless users text your vote to 222. Buckeyes need 7 on 2nd down. Krenzel throws on the slant, incomplete. Intended for Bam Childress.
And you know, it's hard to tell right now if it's Craig's accuracy that's off a little bit. He was so accurate last week against Indiana. Or if it's the fact that Drew Carter is standing on the sidelines with a bad knee, because Bam Childress, another guy who hadn't played much, hadn't had to play much. But right now, this Ohio State passing game is out of sync.
Could be a lot of things.
Well, it could be a good defensive secondary by Penn State as well.
Krenzel 4 for 9. It's 3rd down and 7. You saw Bradley call into his defense. No blitz. Throw to the tight end. Hartsock has a 1st down for the Buckeyes. Krenzel's so cool, and Hartsock's such a big target at 6'4", 264. They hook up. His 23rd reception of the year. This is by far his best season. And they move the chains.
Well, and how much have they grown in this offense? Hartsock grown in this offense where he's always been a great blocker. He's always been an elite blocker, almost 270 pounds. But that time, they actually walked him out into the slot. He has really turned into a complete tight end.
Krenzel, power, Ross, 3. That's it. Gino Capone, the leading tackler for Penn State in the middle, makes it. All conference, all academic. Reads voraciously. Averages 10 tackles a game.
I mean, we've been talking about this power. The guard's going to pull around. You get a back block, a back block. If this guy's out here, you double team up to there. And this time, a good fill by the linebacker. But this is the power play that we're talking about. Good job by the linebacker coming up and meeting that fullback.
2nd down and 6 for Krenzel. The ball's knocked away and almost intercepted by LeVon Chisley. Oh, he had it, and it got away. A tall guy with good feet, great reactions and quickness, and he almost had the pick.
He is longer than 6'5", I'll tell you that. Good job. Read the quarterback. He reads 5-step drop and just stand there. You know, you'd think, oh, you want him rushing, but that is a huge weapon. With a guy 6'5" and a wingspan like that, you don't necessarily have to have him fighting to get to the quarterback. Just stay in the passing lane.
His 2nd batted ball of the game. 3rd down.
Watch a little zone blitz look here from Tom Bradley.
They need 6. Krenzel's being pressured and throws deep, incomplete. They brought Derek Tolles on the blitz. These people are going crazy in here. And Krenzel's hurt.
He's hurt. He's in a lot of pain. And it was Derek Tolles coming on the blitz. Derek Tolles comes in. An empty backfield. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 blockers. You're going to overload this side. 1, 2, 3. You've only got 2 blockers. One comes free. It's unfortunate that the right guard Stepanovic has to go in. He's got to go inside out, and Tolles just absolutely levels Krenzel.
Well, here's one of my all-time favorite players, Craig Krenzel. I mean, I love to sit and talk with him. We were talking about books last night. He's reading Lance Armstrong's new book. Let's hope he just had the wind knocked out of him.
You know, that shot, Tolles coming through and putting the helmet right on his sternum. That's what I hope. But that, you know, that's the hardest thing for a quarterback. That's not a missed assignment by anybody up front. Tom Bradley gambled. He brought one more than Ohio State could block, and Tolles is the free guy. Chisley gets picked up. The defensive end that's coming inside gets picked up, and there's just one free guy because you're an empty set.
Derek Tolles is a missile, too. He's 6 feet, 223 pounds, a senior.
What a great shot.
And Joe Paterno comes out on the field as well. And, you know, Joe told us at lunch yesterday, he loves Craig Krenzel.
Loves him.
First of all, he loves the Buckeyes. He loves the way they play. He says they're relentless. They play football the way the game is supposed to be played.
You know, we showed that the Affleck trivia question about undefeated and untied teams, 68 and 69. Chuck Burkhart was the quarterback. Never lost as a starter for Joe Paterno. And the other day he was telling us that Craig Krenzel reminds him of Chuck Burkhart. In those 2 years, he said, we turned it over maybe 5 times the entire time. And Burkhart and Krenzel, they may not beat you in a throwing contest, but they're tough, competitive, and when they need to make a play in the clutch, that was really a really good compliment to Craig Krenzel.
It's good to see Craig sitting up. Take another look at it. He really took a shot, and he got the helmet right to the stomach.
And Tolles, a guy that Coach Tressel has an amazing amount of respect for. He's from Ohio. When Tressel was at Youngstown State, he said, I'd go to all the banquets, and Derek Tolles was a guy who kept winning all the awards, not for just on-the-field stuff.
Won the Eddie Robinson Award.
Great for off-the-field stuff. He said, I knew I'd never get him at Youngstown State. But he's a great player.
Craig looks, he's still a little bit uncomfortable, but he looks like he's going to be okay. Ohio State has to punt it away. It's a high knuckleball. Maurice Humphrey takes it at the 16. Breaks the tackle. Humphrey's got speed. But so does Hawk.
Oh, he sure does, doesn't he?
A 46-yard punt. How do you not love
that
A.J.
guy's
Hawk?
freaky, man. He is good.
46-yard punt, 10-yard return. Let's go back to New York.
More Oklahoma against Oklahoma State. Jason White is going to see a man wide open. That's Brandon Jones. Don't know what happened to the coverage, but he was wide open back there, and the Sooners now lead 24-0.
And John, I'm believing the floodgates are open in Norman. Having been out and watched Oklahoma State, it's a very talented football team, but I think they're outmanned this year by the Sooners. So as they continue to work on Craig Krenzel, we see Zach Mills come out. And it's first down, Penn State. 2:01 to play in the first half. Good backside pressure and the sack by Will Smith. 9.5 sacks now for the senior captain from Utica, New York.
Take a look at the Chrysler passing playbook. We'll go back to Sean McHugh's touchdown. A really nice call by Fran Ganner. Both him and Bradley doing a nice job. Here's Kranchik. He's going to run right through Dustin Fox, and McHugh's going to release underneath of him into the flat. And watch Fox try to fight through Kranchik. This is just a running pick that sets up and a good athletic play by Mills. But it was all set up. We've seen Kranchik be used as a decoy down the field on a long throw by Mills, and that time he rubs off on Dustin Fox, and a really nice play call by Fran Ganner.
See the numbers on Will Smith. Talking to him yesterday, we asked him about what it feels like to make a sack. And he just has that adrenaline pumping. He thinks it's his goal, and he's reached his goal when he gets to the quarterback. But this is a team now that has 31 sacks on the year. So look at Craig Krenzel.
He's coming back.
Trying to walk it off.
He's coming.
He is a tough, smart, competitive winner. He loves to compete.
Boy, we talked to him about his elbow against NC State. He couldn't throw for a week and a half after that injury. Doug Callan, their trainer that I've known for years, said, Ed, there was capsular damage in there and everything else, and he still gutted it out.
He's not going to be back this half.
No.
He is not going to be back this half. He's going into the locker room, and so Scott McMullen will loosen up, and he'll be your quarterback the rest of the way.
He's a capable guy. He started 2 games while Krenzel was out with that elbow.
Second down and 17 for the Nittany Lions. Little shuffle pass. Need a block. They get a block. Out across the 30. Not enough for the first. Good pickup, though. Puggich makes the tackle. A gain of 12. Coming up on the Capital One halftime show, we'll get a peek at John, Terry, and Craig's Heisman ballots and highlights from Survival Saturday's biggest games. That's coming up in just a couple of minutes. 1 minute and 25 seconds to be exact. Then we'll take you for a little commercial message and then get you back to Times Square Stadium. John, Terry, and Craig.
Difference as you look at those yardage was Samias' 78-yard interception return on a Craig Krenzel out pattern.
Needs 6 for the first. Humphrey's got the pass, and it's a first down. Zach Mills is on fire. Last week, Mills was 14 of 25, 0 interceptions and 1 touchdown against Iowa. His best game this year. It was the first time he looked like the old Zach Mills after the knee injury, and now this game in the first half, he's 12 of 16.
And how many times has he thrown the ball away? There's really only been 1 incomplete pass. The other ones, he was scrambling and throwing it away.
Under a minute to play first half. Stands in the pocket and throws, almost intercepted. Thrown behind his tight end, and Hawk almost had it.
Take a look at the Pacific Life game summary. Just talking about that great Zamitis play, but things got started. Imagine that, a power play. Lydell Ross walks in. Zach Mills makes a great athletic play, and Sean McHugh catches his first touchdown of his career for the senior, and then Zamitis just absolutely reading the playbook of Ohio State. He squatted on the outcut, knew he had deep safety help in his cover 3, had a 90-yard return, didn't score against Purdue, and he finally gets paid dirt for 78-yard return for a touchdown that time.
Second down and 10 for Mills. Here's Humphrey. Sidesteps 1. Gets across the 45. Will Allen makes the stop. Here's another guy I love to play. Will Allen. Second leading tackler. He's relentless. Boy, they never missed a beat when Allen took over for three-time All-American Mike Doss. He's a player.
He's a guy who continually makes big plays. We saw that game. We were there for NC State when he hit T.A. McClendon in the back, stopped him about a yard, not even a yard, what, foot and a half from the touchdown to end the game.
Well, hey, Columbus, you know how good your football team is, and you know they certainly will be out here in the second half competing. And I don't think anybody expected what has happened here in the first half. 38 seconds to play in the first half, and it's Penn State with the lead. Tomorrow at 8/7 Central on a new 10/8. For this rookie and his training officer, every day is training day. 10/8, officers on duty, part of Sunday's best. ABC tomorrow at 8/7 Central.
You know, I think that Joe Paterno might have just helped Coach Tressel out by calling that timeout. I know it's a big down, it's 3rd and long, but if anything, I'd just be happy if I'm Penn State. 17-7, go in, and now Ohio State with 2 timeouts. If Penn State does not pick up this first down, I'd call a timeout. Make Penn State punt it because they've had troubles with blocks and returns.
3rd down, they need 9. Bills with the count. 3-step drop, pumps and looks deep. He's going for Humphrey and throws it out of bounds.
And now they don't have to use a timeout.
33 seconds remain. If you're just joining us, Lotto Ross scored from 1 yard out for Ohio State, and the Buckeyes led 7-0 after a very methodical drive. Then McHugh on a 2-yard touchdown pass from Mills scored, a minus a 78-yard interception return, and Kimball with a 42-yard field goal for Penn State, and it's the Nittany Lions by 10.
And even though Ohio State will have Scott McMullen in the game because Craig Krenzel has gone to the locker room, they'll have plenty of time to mount a drive here.
Michael Jenkins watches this one go inside the 10. Wow. Takes a big bounce, and Penn State downs it at the 3.
What a kick.
A 52-yard punt and down by Rich Gardner.
All right, hold
Special
that
teams in the first half for Penn State, much improved.
They've been nothing short of spectacular, and now because of that kick, a couple of quarterback sneaks and take it to the locker room. You don't want to mess around right now if you're Ohio State coming out on offense.
24 seconds left. And so we get our first look at senior Scott McMullen, 6'3", 215-pounder, 31 of 47 passes, 3 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions.
Joe has to be so happy with how his special teams have played. That's really what's been beating them on their 2-6 start.
Quarterback sneak. Pushes it away from the goal line. Joe Paterno wants a timeout. Well, 14 seconds left.
Well, he doesn't have. They're going to be down to 1. He doesn't have enough. The thinking is that you'd want to make Ohio State punt, but he doesn't have enough. He's only got 1 timeout left now.
Joe's working. So's Jim.
Don't slow him down.
Love to watch these 2 guys. Jim and Joe working hard in the first half here.
Not quite sure.
How about the job Jim Tressel has done? 28-6 at Ohio State, 16-4 at a big play, conference title, and a natty.
Whew. You know what I think Joe wanted to do? Just get his defense together and say, guys, don't let them trick you into thinking that they're going to take a knee. Watch your responsibilities. If you've got the tight end and they're in a bunch formation, follow him, because they don't want anything crazy to happen where they fake. Ohio State might fake a knee down and have McMullen back up and throw one.
That's a great picture of Joe right there talking to Chris Harrell, who just told him exactly what you were saying. Watch the pump fake, watch him deep. And Joe knows this defense has been giving up too many big plays. You don't want to do it here with 16 seconds left. Put 2 more seconds back on the clock. Out across the 5 go the Buckeyes. And that'll do it.
Well, maybe that was a good timeout by Joe. Just get everybody straight and let's go in down 7. Excuse me. I'm so used to being down at half. 17-7 up. It's a huge half.
So the first half comes to an end at Beaver Stadium, and more than 100,000 show their approval of what's taken place for the Nittany Lions thus far, and Joe thanking the crowd for being so instrumental. Penn State leading by 10. Let's go downstairs to Sam Ryan. Sam?
All right, thanks a lot, Timmy. Jim, obviously the concern right now has to be with their quarterback, Craig Krenzel.
Well,
what
no
happened?
doubt. You know, I'm not exactly sure. He got banged pretty good, and we'll find out here at halftime if he could go the second half. And obviously we have a lot of work to do, but we knew it was going to be this way in Beaver Stadium.
You said it before the game. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
So always a class act. Takes time to talk with Sam. Jim Tressel, we thank that. We thank you for that. We're going to take a break here, and when we come back, we'll take you back to Times Square Stadium in Manhattan, where John, Terry, and Craig will update you on all the big games throughout the country throughout the day.
There are no gold medals for the 4x4 that masters Arctic snow. There are no championship games for fording muddy water. And there are no finish lines for the one that makes it over stacks of treacherous boulders. So why do we make sure every Jeep 4x4 is trail rated to such strict standards of capability? Perhaps the better question is, why doesn't everyone else? If it's not trail rated, it's not a Jeep 4x4.
They set up in the eye on this, the last play of the game. And here's the snap. Hand off to the tailback. Peterson tries the right side. Wow, what a hit. But he stays on his feet, and he's broken to the outside, and it's wide open. Touchdown. Give him a touchdown.
Football town, I know my team needs me.
And without my boys, the game could be lost. In football town,
I know it can make the difference.
I know fans can win the game. I've seen it, I've felt it, I've tasted it. I know. You make the game.
Introducing the Bowflex Ultimate. Quite possibly the best home fitness machine ever made. Bowflex is so effective that we guarantee you'll get the results you want in 6 weeks or less. Own the new Bowflex Ultimate with no money down and monthly payments lower than many health club dues. Call and ask for a free video or DVD, or visit us on the web today. The new Bowflex for ultimate results.
You're watching ABC.
Hey, that thing got a Hemi? You're about to find out. Excuse me. Can I have my order, please?
Dodge Ram with the legendary Hemi. Loved by those who have one, dreamt about by those who don't.
Sweet.
Get $4,500 cash allowance or 0% financing on 2003 Ram 1500.
A weather technology breakthrough. Ultimate Doppler. Only on 9 News.
The Capital One Halftime Show. Brought to you by Capital One. What's in your wallet? From Times Square in New York, John Saunders, Terry Bowden, and Craig James.
17-7, Penn State trying to avoid losing for the 5th consecutive time. That would be a first under Joe Paterno. And for the Ohio State Buckeye fans, you have to be concerned because they don't score a lot. When you're down 17-7, that's big news.
And the big story is Zach Mills. He's been hurt all year. He's now healthy. He's a drop-back quarterback. He sits in the pocket. A lot of vertical passing plays that Buckeyes are not ready for, and they'll be able to stop them.
You know what? I really look at this whole game, though, and it's about Penn State. They're relaxed right now. They're playing their game. It's what we used to see from Penn State. They're executing on offense. Their defense has to win the game. Craig Krenzel's out for Ohio State. We don't know if he's coming back. It's up to Penn State's defense to finish the game off.
Yeah, this is the kind of game where Ohio State just doesn't have the offense they usually have.
And Buckeye fans don't want to hear this, but they're not the same team without Maurice Clarett. Remember that. Oklahoma State against Oklahoma. In this one, the last 2 years, the Cowboys came up with a victory, ending the national championship hopes of the Sooners. Could they do it again today? Well, Josh Fields is just hounded. Dan Cody with the sack. Jackson recovers the loose ball. Cody, 3 sacks already today. They got a field goal 3-0. Kewan Jones would score twice.
You know what? They're able to run the ball, throw the football. It's about 50-50 on play-pass selection. And, you know, when you're doing that at Oklahoma, your balance is there. defense can't deal with it.
We both thought before the game this would be a dominant game for Oklahoma. Once this became a big game, it's Bob Stoops kind of game, it looks like a bunch of fast guys going against a bunch of slow guys. This team is flying all over the ball.
They're going to try to whip these guys as bad as they can.
Jason White, just 7 of 19 for 81 yards, but he has a touchdown on that one wide open. But let's get back to the point about wanting them beat them so badly. Bob Stoops said, I don't care about rivalries. It doesn't mean anything. You can bet, though, during the banquet circuit each year, we lost Oklahoma State the last 2 years. He doesn't want to hear it.
I guarantee he's got pride. That's one thing about him. He's got a lot of pride. He's got a lot of confidence. And he believes in his players. And when he looks them in the eye, you know good and well, he's telling them guys how bad they're going to have this. And no, he doesn't like to be second to anybody in this whole conference, whole league, much less in his own state.
Absolutely. And you just got to remember this. Oklahoma has better players than Oklahoma State. I guarantee you that out there. And the Oklahoma players have taken it upon themselves to go out and play like they were recruited to do, and they're getting the job done.
Some of the players were talking about being embarrassed over the last 2 years. Not about to happen again. Florida State against Notre Dame. Remember, 93, your dad's team went in there unbeaten and lost to Notre Dame. Still won the national championship. Not going to happen this time.
No, the defense is dominant over Notre Dame right now. But Notre Dame's trying to blitz Chris Ricks, make him win the game. He's done it. He's throwing all up and down the field, having a big day.
That's that guy that you're always bashing, right, Ricks, that he can't win a national championship. Hey, not a bad day. It's not a bad day for him.
I actually hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong.
Corfonzo Thorpe has 2 touchdown receptions there. World's largest outdoor cocktail party, Georgia and Florida. The Gators are ready. David Green gets sacked here by Crowder. They lose 7 yards on this play. And then David Green again gets sacked by Travis Harris. Loss of 7 yards again.
You know what? The cocktail party deal, I saw a big one here in Manhattan last night, but this one right here, there's not much offense going on because the defenses are getting after the quarterbacks.
Well, the offensive line is young. It's a young offensive line. They can't protect the quarterback. He doesn't have Musa Smith at tailback. He's in the pros. Fred Gibson's gone at wide receiver. He's got nobody to throw it to, and the line can't protect. But that Georgia defense is the most dominant segment in this game.
Yeah, Florida has 4 sacks in the game, a 3-3 tie. Duke and Tennessee, Phil Fulmer. Boy, he needs this win this week because next week he's got the Miami Hurricanes. Casey Clausen, 40 yards to Tony Brown as he double clutches it and gets a deep, perfectly thrown pass, and it would set up a field goal for a 3-0 lead. Right now, though, Tennessee in a struggle with Duke at 6-3.
They're out of sync. They've been after all week. They've been hearing these rumors about Phil Fulmer resigning, this and that. They're out of sync. They don't have confidence, and they're not playing like a very good football team.
Out of sync in the toilet. Yes. They can't run the football. I mean, this is a football team that's run for about 30-something yards in this half. I mean, that's unbelievable. Tennessee is supposed to come out and pound the football against Duke. And when you look at a team like that right now with Philip Fulmer, they talked about their offensive line, this and that. No excuse for them not taking care of business.
All right, we told everybody what Jason White was doing, and he's on top of just about everybody's list for the Heisman. So we thought we'd take a look at our 3 choices for the Heisman. And Terry, you go first.
Well, yeah, Jason White, if they keep hey, I actually get the Heisman. Jason White, though, as long as they keep winning, a quarterback has to win. He's got Heisman numbers. But Kellen Winslow, he's had 2 100-yard games in the last 3 weeks.
You got to get rid of your comments there, dude. I'm going with Larry Fitzgerald. I like him. He's a great player. Jason White, if he wins out, not a bad choice.
Yeah, we all have Jason White as number 1, but Eli Manning, especially with the day he had today, and Tatum Bell of Oklahoma State, he's got to get it going in the second half against Oklahoma, but he has been as good a running back as there has been in the country over the last 3 weeks. I look good in the Heisman Trophy. Maybe they should redesign the trophy. Look after me.
No hockey there.
On an uncharted island, 12 fierce competitors have gathered for
the Capital One Mascot Island Challenge.
We've separated America's favorite mascots into the polyester and wool blend tribes. First event, Iron Mascot Marathon.
Cast your vote for the National Mascot of the Year at CapitalOneBowl.com. Tune in the Capital One Bowl to see who wins.
If you don't use fuel to clear your head, if you've never had a Sunday ride extend through Tuesday, if the only thing that wanders is your mind, get out of the way. The all-new Suzuki SV1000S.
Big Ten football is a special tradition. More than
5.5 million fans pack our stadiums each year, making Big Ten football what it is today.
So respect the game and show good sportsmanship, because the Big Ten sets an example for everyone to follow. Before, during, and after the game. Big Ten football. Good sports make great fans. This is the Capital One Halftime Show. John Saunders, Terry Bowden, and Craig James with three people we're not sure who those guys
I
are.
I need a hair transplant. I got an axe to the head.
They've been calling me Pumpkinhead a long time.
You kind of got the Elvis look going there. It's the no huddle highlight time. We start off with Texas against Nebraska. Texas trying to keep their hopes alive to get a chance to get a BCS berth with a win in the Big 12 championship game, but they got to get there. Vince Young, what did he show you today?
He showed me that he can cover ground pretty darn fast, and that when they run the football using his legs, Texas is the kind of team that can beat anybody they play.
And when they mix the running with Cedric Benson, he had a great day, too. 174 yards, beautiful run, great blocking, 3 touchdowns on the day.
Young, though, had 163 yards on the ground. Michigan State, John Navarre, can he win the big game on the road? 40 yards to Braylon Edwards.
Game ball goes to the offensive line of Michigan. The play-action pass, because of the running of Chris Perry, opened up the big ball.
Yeah, but Chris Perry, his running, that was the best defense. It put Jeff Smoker off the field. John Navarre throwing great touchdown pass, too.
Yeah, Perry, 51 carries, 219 yards. Illinois and Iowa. Illinois was just wishing this season would come to an end. Their quarterback, Dustin Ward, fumbles the ball after he's hit by Matt Roth. Bob Sanders takes it in for a touchdown, 27-0. And then Fred Russell does a little running as well.
Yeah, this is just piling it on. I mean, this is a good Big Ten team playing against a terrible Big Ten team. And, you know, they just kind of pile it on with Fred Russell.
And Kirk Ferentz, the head coach, doing a great job. Everybody thought last year, conference champion, one-year wonder, they're going back to a bowl.
Northwestern and Purdue, a swing and a miss by Pete the Boilermaker. But Kyle Orton was missing as he pitches to Brandon Jones. Reverse on the handoff to Ray Williams, 12 yards for the touchdown.
You know, they did anything they wanted to do in this game. Purdue, we know, one of the top teams in the Big Ten, and that swing with that axle, like my golf swing, pretty big divot.
And you got to forget Purdue. We got to remember Purdue still in the hunt for the Big Ten championship.
John Standiford, by the way, in that game, Big Ten all-time receiving yards leader, receptions 3,418 yards. But let's talk about Michigan and Texas. Texas needs some help, but both these teams in the hunt to win their conferences and get that automatic berth.
And Texas, even if they don't win their conference with a 10-2 season, they could get that at-large berth into the BCS.
Well, I think what Texas showed today is that whenever they've got their game going and it's not a team that says, oh, you on the helmet over there, then they can take care of business. Texas is a talented football team, and they proved today they're a much better team than Nebraska.
They're not soft anymore either.
Well, who said they were soft?
Some guy down in Texas. Some guy down in Texas.
Sportsman, right?
It's
our own fans.
This is the Capital One Halftime Show. We'll continue from Times Square in a moment.
The Capital One Mascot Island Challenge.
Tribes, tonight's challenge, a stroll over burning coals.
These coals are 550 degrees, but with positive thinking.
Is that supposed to happen?
Cast your vote for the National Mascot of the Year at CapitalOneBowl.com. Tune in the Capital One Bowl to see who wins.
What's in your wallet?
Dear DirecTV, there's not a word to describe how great DirecTV is. It's not great. It's not greater than great. It's even greater than greatest. My mom, at first didn't know if it was a good idea, but now she loves DirecTV. Signed, Brian Mills. Brian, I think I'm going to have you write my next review.
Act now and get a 3-room DirecTV system, including equipment and installation, free.
The Capital One Halftime Show. Brought to you by Capital One. What's in your wallet?
Sunday,
You brutalized the suspect without provocation.
He was trying to kill me. When a rookie is falsely accused,
My job's at stake here.
his tough training officer
He did his job.
will put his own career on the line.
Get out of my face, deputy.
Get out of here.
10-8 Officers on Duty, followed by Alias. An all-new ABC Sunday starts 8/7 Central.
I'm Jimmy Kimmel with my cousin Sal, who's here to pick the winner of this Monday night's game between the Patriots and the Broncos. Sal?
I'm going with the Broncos.
And why are you dressed like that, Sal?
I love football.
He does. Watch Jimmy Kimmel live after the game Monday night. Back to you guys.
Tear down the goalposts next Saturday on ABC at noon. Some of you will see Texas A&M against the Oklahoma Sooners. Others will see a great non-conference matchup, Tennessee and Miami, or Michigan State against Ohio State. On the West Coast only, 4 o'clock Pacific time, UCLA against Washington State. Also on the West Coast this afternoon, Washington State takes on USC right here on ABC. Utah against Air Force. Chance Harris, 2-yard touchdown run, ties this game up late. You see there's about 3 minutes left. They go into overtime. Utah's Ben Moore lines up as a quarterback and runs it in for a 1-yard touchdown. You can see there's a third OT, so they have to go for a 2-point conversion.
Which is a great rule. They have to go for 2, and the play action leaves the tight end wide open over the middle. Nice job of Utah recovering after their loss to New Mexico last week.
Yes, they're back in the hunt for the conference championship, but Colorado State's still out there.
South Carolina against Ole Miss. Eli Manning, 29 yards to Kerry Johnson. They get the win easily, 43-40. It was a late comeback. We'll continue after this message and a word from our ABC station.
Favre drops back to throw, under pressure, scrambles right, gets away from Washington. He's going to throw it as far as he can down the field. It is tipped and caught by Tillman. Tillman at the 20, the 15, the 10, touchdown USL.
Pick your all-time Pontiac high-performance play at ESPN.com/Pontiac. You can also enter for a chance to win a new V8 Bonneville GXP and VIP access to the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl.
Can you believe it?
A cool zing after shaving feels good. Now Nivea gives you that refreshing feeling and improves your skin with moisturizers and vitamins. New Nivea for Men Fresh Cooling Aftershave Balm. It cools and improves.
Stronger. More comfortable. Guaranteed. Wrangler 5-star premium quality denim. Wrangler. Real comfortable jeans.
First there was 1 blade, then 2, then 3. But 4 blades? Give me a break, right? Wrong. The new Schick Quattro has the power of 4 blades and 2 conditioning strips, which makes Quattro unlike any other razor. And those 4 blades give you an incredibly close, smooth shave. So your 5 o'clock shadow shows up late. 4 blades. Where will it stop? Here. Schick Quattro, the power of 4.
There's a war being waged between the FBI.
Put the gun down!
And the mob.
Who do you work for?
Divided by a line.
No one comes into our town and steals our children.
Both sides are ready to cross.
FBI!
Line of Fire, premiering Tuesday, December 2nd on ABC. Viewer discretion is advised.
George, what's going on inside the truck?
It's football season, Joey. It's full of digital TVs.
You've seen this before?
Oh, yeah, with over 100 models of digital TVs in stock. Happens every year at this time when we go to deliver and install them.
Good arm.
Let the games begin on your own digital TV from H.H. Gregg.
Hey, George, you think they need a water boy?
First, where no sports sedan has been before. The all-new 270 horsepower Acura TL, a higher form of performance.
Everyone gets excited about Buffalo Wild Wings takeout. Some a little too excited. From wings spun in one of 12 sauces to burgers and salads, get Buffalo Wild Wings takeout today. And be sure to grab a 32-ounce Coca-Cola. Buffalo Wild Wings. Get it to go.
football on ABC Sports Championship Television.
This afternoon, the Ohio State Buckeyes came to Happy Valley, and in the first half, their star quarterback, Craig Krenzel, went down with an injury. He may not be back. They'll have to step it up if they hope to defend their national championship of a year ago. The Penn State Nittany Lions know a thing or two about winning championships. Coach Joe Paterno has won 2 of them, along with 338 wins. He's trying to get another one today. Zach Mills, 13 of 19, and this touchdown. It's the Buckeyes and the Lions coming up next. More than 100,000 in Beaver Stadium enjoying this for Penn State, leading by 10 at the half, but there's a lot of football yet to be played. At halftime, they said Craig Krenzel may not be back, but since then, Sam Ryan has talked to Jim Trensel. Let's go downstairs. Here's Sam.
And Timmy, you're exactly right. I just spoke to Jim Tressel. He said Craig Krenzel can go in the second half, but he's not going to go with him right away. He pretty much got his bell rung. The words of the coach, Jim Tressel. As for Scott McMullen, he said he has all the confidence in the world in him. I asked him what he does well. He said everything that Craig does. He said, hey, this kid can pretty much run the offense, guys.
So Jim Tressel says he will not start him, but he is available, and that's big. That certainly is a lot more optimistic than the word we had at the beginning of intermission. Ohio State will have the ball first here in the second half. Kimball's kick. This one may be returnable. No, but Ohio State downs it in the end zone. Not one of his longer kicks. So with McMullen coming in the ballgame to start the second half, what does that mean for the Buckeyes?
Well, luckily they got him to have 2 starts because Krenzel went down with that elbow injury against NC State, and he can run the whole offense. He played pretty well when he was in there. They kind of call him a gunslinger. That's kind of his nickname around campus. He gets back there and wings it. And you almost, with Krenzel, if he's not 100%, McMullen a guy when you're down 10 and you've got to get something going offensively, this may be a little bit of a change that may be beneficial through the second half for Ohio State.
I saw you over there talking to one of the all-time great Ohio State Buckeyes, Jim Lachey, at halftime. So you don't think this is a bad thing? What does he think?
No, I was talking to Jim about the change, and he said, you know, Krenzel is so good at running this offense. And he's, you know, he gets back there. He's so cerebral. Sometimes he gets caught a little bit thinking. Nothing bad about that. But he said McMullen, a guy who just kind of throws it from the hip. He'll just go out there, get into his set, and let it fly. He'll try to fit into some tight spots. He's not afraid. He's got a great arm strength. And that may be exactly what they need.
Scott McMullen, 6'3", 215-pound senior. Certainly experienced. Second down and only 2 needed. Ross straight ahead. He's not going to get there. Just short of the 30. He has to get across the 30 for the first down, so it'll bring up 3rd down.
Take a look at the Pacific Life game summary, the first half stats. 1 penalty in the first half, which is unbelievable. Rushing yards for Penn State, they haven't had to because Zach Mills has been absolutely spectacular in the first half, and it was that interception by Krenzel, returned by Zemaitis, that has really been the difference so far in this ballgame.
Penn State, the least penalized team in the Big Ten Conference. 3rd down and less than 1. Quarterback sneak. And Scott McMullen got the first. Move the chains. Buckeyes on the move.
We already mentioned that McMullen started those 2 games against Bowling Green and Northwestern. And Ohio State had a scare against Bowling Green. Of course, we've all found out that Bowling Green with Josh Harris, quarterback's a pretty good club. But he was 26 of 41, 284 yards, 2 touchdowns and 2 interceptions in those 2 ball games. Those are his season numbers.
Only the 19th meeting between these 2 schools. Penn State leads the series 10 games to 8. The home team has won the last 7 times. McMullen lets it fly. He's got it complete. And Holmes is all the way down inside the 30. So you say he's one of those guys that's a gunslinger and lets it go. Holmes has his 3rd catch of the game, and it's down to the 30-yard line. And here come the defending national champions.
And let me tell you something right now. You do not throw a post. Skinny post even. Santonio Holmes has to keep it skinny because the safety, Chris Harrell, is coming over, and Scott McMullen absolutely fitted that in perfectly.
The Buckeyes have won 21 of their last 22 ball games, and they come out fighting here in the second half. They'll pick up a 38, first down, Ohio State. Ross around the right corner. Gets back to the line of scrimmage, greeted there rather rudely. Ambahali, big old number 91 was there, along with Jay Alford.
This fits right into the MO of Ohio State. I mean, last year they won 7 games. 7 out of the 14 games they won on the way to the national championship were decided by 7 points or less. They're used to being in tight situations on the road. When they come out here firing, the backup quarterback comes in and has them all the way down to the 30-yard line to start.
Saw the numbers on Ross. He's the Big Ten Offensive Player of the Week after running for 167 yards last week against Indiana. Here he is, big hole. Breaks the tackle and gets down to the 25-yard line. Lydell Ross, 210 pounds, taken down by Tim Johnson.
A little bit of adjustment by Tom Bradley. That was the power play again. And he's bringing somebody to the strong side of the formation. And that time, the left guard, Adrian Clark, did a nice job. Instead of getting up in the hole, it becomes a trap block. But you've got to do that. You've got to try to get penetration on that power play.
This is the way the Buckeyes started the game. First possession, a very methodical long drive. Here is 3rd down. They need 5. McMullen looks to the end zone. Flags fly. Incomplete, but pass interference will be called.
Yeah.
Israel was beaten, and the ball was thrown well.
It was. It's good sometimes for a quarterback like Scott McMullen. I mean, he played well against Bowling Green and Northwestern.
Holding on the defense against an eligible receiver. That's a 10-yard penalty with an automatic first down.
But sometimes it's easier for a quarterback to come off the bench. You don't have to sit all week and think about everything that's going through your head. The press is not talking to you like they would if you were the starter. McMullen's come out and looked really good. You're right, Tim. That throw, if it weren't for the defensive holding, was a touchdown to Holmes. Perfectly thrown.
Penn State has only 9 turnovers all year. They're not forcing turnovers. They need one here. Ohio State on a good drive. Stutter step by Ross. Gets to the corner. Turns it up, but he's hit after a gain of about 3. Good play by Alan Zamitis, who was beaten on that long post.
Boy, and Derek Wake just got shook by Lydell Ross. Wake had him dead to rights in the backfield. Did that little jump step. Watch the little jump back by Ross. Whoop. Sorry, Derek. And then Wake runs it to a 330-pound Adrian Clark.
2nd down, and they need 7. Ross inside the 10. Not enough for the first. Gino Capone tripped him up. Take a look at the Pontiac Drive summary, the last 6 possessions. And after that first touchdown, the defense tightened up, and Ohio State unable to get points.
And it looked ugly early for Penn State defensively, and now they have a 3rd medium on the 10. I would not be surprised, got an empty set. If Tom Bradley against a young quarterback brings some pressure, looks like he's bringing it from the outside.
Buckeyes need 4 for the first. Flanker screen, breaks the tackle, gets down to the 5, and I may have gotten it. Chris Gamble shook the first tackler, and he's close to that first down marker.
That's where the 16 pounds that Gamble gained in the offseason helped out, because the Penn State defense had that wide receiver screen snuffed out.
This will be close. He had to get down to the 5.
Well, he got it by the hair
well, if he didn't get it,
of that pigskin.
Do you go for 3 or do you go for the first?
That's why I'm glad I'm sitting up here. I would kick it, but I don't think
what kind of answer
I don't
is
think
that?
Tressel is. I think he'll go for it. Well, you're down 10.
That much?
Nah, if it's that much, go for it. I'm backtracking now.
Here's what made that play.
Anwar Phillips just goes too high, and Gamble does a really nice job. Otherwise, there would not be a choice. But I like this by Tressel. I can't believe I hedged when you asked me and actually said I would kick
believe it either.
Yeah, no, you got to go for it. Good call.
So they take the chains off. The 100,000 faithful come to their feet.
Be careful, Penn State, that you've got the middle of the line stacked, that McMullen doesn't run a naked boot, and they drag a tight end. Do not sell out completely.
Inches. sneaks, got the first down. McMullen with that big body lunges forward for enough for the first. Scott McMullen is a load at 6'3", 215 pounds.
Well, Nick Mangold in there at the middle, the center. Just a sophomore. And Coach Dressel said Stepanovic is still not 100%, although he's in there at guard. But this young man came in and played so well. He earned the right. It would not have been right to take him out. So you put Stepanovic in at the right guard, and guess where you run the sneak? Oh, that's good. Olivier just absolutely blew up this side of the
That
line.
move tells you right there how talented they are, because I think Stepanovic is one of the best centers in the country. McMullen with plenty of time rolls right and runs into trouble. Now he throws to the end zone. Touchdown, and a flag flies. So the Buckeyes have a touchdown. We'll wait and see what the call is in the end zone. This one looks like it'll go against Ohio State.
Illegal touching by an eligible receiver who went out of bounds. He came back in. He was first to touch the football. Penalty is loss of down at the previous spot.
So it's a loss of down at the previous spot, and they call it back.
In college football, if you are forced out of bounds, and remember, Holmes just a freshman, still learning the game, if you are forced out of bounds, you can come back in and be the first to make a play on it. If you run out of bounds on your own, you cannot come back in and be the first to touch it.
10 plays, 66 yards, and like its first drive, the Buckeyes have eaten up 6 minutes of the clock. To the end zone, touchdown Buckeyes. McMullen throws a strike to Jenkins, and the Buckeyes close the gap.
That's a big body. Jenkins at 6'5", 215 pounds. Just runs a body slant. Gets the body in there, turn the shoulders.
Last year, Jenkins had 61 catches for over 1,000 yards. This one is almost perfect. Look at the move.
He shook him. Yeah, he shook Zemaitis. Zemaitis doing a nice job of holding his ground, but Jenkins shook him like he might go over the top. And get him. That was a great route.
And Nugent's extra point is good. So the 10-point lead is cut to 3.
What a nice route by Michael Jenkins, a senior. Use that big body, make him think of going over top, right inside for the slant.
9:17 to play in the third period. Scott McMullen comes in and throws a strike to his star.
Bud Light salutes you, Mr. Really Bad Toupee Wearer. Mr. Really Bad Toupee Wearer. You think it looks natural, but it couldn't look phonier if it had a chin strap.
Look at you.
Made of space-age fibers, it can repel anything. Rain, wind, snow, and especially young women.
I don't think so.
So make it a Bud Light, mister. And here's another for that thing on your head.
The newly redesigned 2004 Pontiac Grand Prix with 260 horsepower to help you get the most out of your ride. And OnStar stolen vehicle tracking to help you get your ride back. Fuel for the soul.
The stock market has changed, and this time we're going to change with it.
Well, I'm doing more homework now, and I need information I can trust.
And that's why we developed Schwab Equity Ratings.
I don't want to make the same mistakes I made in the past.
Schwab Equity Ratings are fact-based evaluations of a stock's potential performance.
I want a better way to find quality stocks.
And right now, we'll send you a free sample of Schwab Equity Ratings for 3 stocks of your choice. Just call 1-888-8-SCHWAB and discover a better way to get a clear perspective on your investment decisions.
Dave. Brian. Are these your consultants?
They're providing an ongoing assessment.
We're on a standardized Dell Linux solution. PowerEdge servers, Intel Xeon processors.
What about assessment? Validation, deployment.
Dell's services are proven and scalable end-to-end. They're customer-centric.
We're more contractually inseparable.
Manage your enterprise for less with the flexibility of Dell products and services. Call or go online today.
When Jim takes his girls to a scary movie, it's going to be his worst nightmare.
There was a very loving family in it, although they got chopped up pretty fast.
All new Jim. Comedy Rules, ABC Tuesday.
They call him Mr. Clutch. Michael Jenkins with his first catch of the night, and it's a touchdown. Closes the gap to 3. The scoring drive, 12 plays, 80 yards. It ate up 5 minutes and 43 seconds of the clock. The star, McMullen, who came in for Krenzel, 3 for 4. His only incompletion was the penalty, which was a touchdown strike.
It would have been a perfect throw.
He also picked up the critical first down.
Well held. Santonio Holmes, otherwise it's a touchdown.
Humphrey wants it, but instead it's Calvin Lowry. And he has absolutely nowhere to run. He's not going to get back to the 20. The momentum of the game has changed, and the Buckeyes have it back. The BCS standings brought to you by Allstate look like this. Oklahoma handling Oklahoma State handily. Miami plays Virginia Tech tonight. Florida State big over Notre Dame. Southern Cal, well, Southern Cal is probably playing as well as anybody in the country right now.
And they got Washington State this week, this afternoon.
There's your top 20 in the BCS, and it goes to the 25. Number 25, the Bruins of UCLA, who actually are in first place in the Pac-10. And they were pulling for Washington State today, I believe.
Nobody's talking about UCLA in that Pac-10 race. They're not a dark horse. They're sitting on top. And they've got the games to win that thing out.
Straight ahead goes Penn State, and there's not much there. Austin Scott hasn't found much room today. Will Allen, the safety, plugged the hole quickly, and he'll get credit for the tackle, along with Robert Reynolds. A loss of 3.
And now Zach Mills has to go back to what he had going in the first half.
You have the feeling right now Penn State needs a play to get something going.
They do, and it's that kickoff return. They have been, we talked about their special teams, but that time Lowry, with not a very good return, puts them in a position where they can't take too much of a risk against this great defense.
Well, they need 13 and go with a running play, and the crowd doesn't like that. They lose yardage again. So all of a sudden, the Nittany Lions have gotten very conservative as Austin Scott loses yardage.
As hot as Zach Mills was in the first half, I think Fran can take a risk. I mean, it is risky. You're down inside your 10-yard line. Look at the square shoulders. You want to talk about a coached-up defense. Mark D'Antonio, the defensive coordinator, he's given complete freedom by Jim Tressel to run that defense, and you can see why. These guys are coached up.
They need 13 for the first. Throw to the outside. It's complete. First down, Penn State. Was he in bounds? Yes. Maurice Humphrey with his fourth catch of the game. We watched him in practice the other day. Donnie Johnson, Maurice Humphrey, 2 freshmen that are spectacular. Joe Paterno's got a lot of faith in him, and look at this catch.
And protection by the offensive line. This was a long out cut because they had to pick up so many yards for the first down. And Dustin Fox, who has seen enough of number 5, although he hasn't had a big game, to know that he's got the speed. You better give him a little cushion on the outside.
So they pick up 16 when they needed 13. It's first down, Penn State. I think his knee touched down at the 30-yard line. And there's Donnie Johnson. We just talked about him.
Donnie Johnson was, we talked about Maurice Humphrey, who was a cornerback at the start of the season. Donnie Johnson, look at those arms. Those are not the arms of a wide receiver. That is a former running back. They moved him after the Nebraska game. Then they had to move him back when Austin Scott caught mono, moving back to running back, now back at wide receiver. And boy, he is so quick in that little intermediate area. That's why they're going to try to get him underneath some.
Second down and 6 out of the eye. They run the option. Mills hit and hit hard before he could even read the option. Will Smith was there in a hurry. Let's go downstairs to Sam.
All right, Timmy, this is a game Penn State has been fired up for all week. Last night's festivities added even more emotion. The rally in the Valley. More than 5,000 showed up for the pep rally to cheer on the Lions. Look who did the most cheering. Joe Paterno. The entire team was on hand, along with the blue band, the cheerleaders, the dance team. Joe told us that was something they really needed. He was fired up. Look at that.
The Liza's years. Incredible man. Third down and 9.
Ohio State now snuck up on the line of scrimmage.
And flags fly. and it's against Penn State. You know, all the criticism that has been leveled at Joe Paterno here this year. Why don't these people, and I said this to Joe at lunch yesterday, I think the ones that are criticizing are spoiled. He spoiled them over the years. But the last 10 years, even if you want to go back that far, I mean, sit back and relax. You're watching a legend, a luminary. Let him finish his career, and the program is not going anywhere. It'll be here for another couple hundred years.
I don't disagree. He's earned the right. But, you know, if they have a losing record this year, it's 3 of the last 4.
But next year, they're going to be fantastic.
Oh, they're going to be really good. You can understand. If I were a fan of Penn State and went to school, I'd be a little upset.
Mills throws complete. First down. Terrence Phillips with the catch. And there's a flag. And this may be against the Buckeyes. Roughing the passer.
Automatic first down.
So a gain of 19. Add 15 more for roughing the passer. And the Nittany Lions are on the move again.
And this is something that we are, you know, Reynolds was suspended. And that is a late hit that time by A.J. Hawk. I don't think it's a dirty play. He's just finishing it, but that is a good call. And the Reynolds situation. Robert Reynolds was suspended for choking Jim Sorgi. Will Smith early in the year, they had to back him back a little bit. He had a couple of hits on the quarterback. Not a dirty play. A.J. was just trying to finish it, but a good call by the officials.
A couple of big injuries. Everybody knows about Craig Krenzel. We've been talking about that. He was injured at the end of the first half. He has not been back yet. For Penn State, Gerald Smith took a helmet-to-helmet crack. He has not been back in, and he's a big player. Came into the game as one of the leading receivers.
Penn State, it's their first.
So the Nittany Lions take timeout with 5:58 to play in the third and holding on to a 3-point lead. Right now, the crowd is a little bit quiet. They're looking for something to get excited about. We'll see if they get it when we come back.
Well, here we go. Here's your ball game, folks, as Flutie takes the snap. He drops straight back, has some time. Now he scrambles away from one hit. Looks, uncorks a deep one for the end zone. Phelan is down there.
Oh, he got it!
Did he get it?
He got it!
Touchdown! 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 Touchdown, Boston College! He did it! He did it! Flutie did it! He got Phelan in the end zone! Touchdown! Oh, my goodness! What a play!
What you seeing didn't start with LL today. Take it from me. Run DMC paved the way with Jam Master J. The KINGs. Run D and Dr. Pepper. That's originality. The taste of Dr. Pepper. Dr. Pepper. The taste of originality. Salutes individuality. Individual. Gives life personality. Be you. Do what you do. Be you. Be you. Nothing better than Dr. Pepper. Run DMC and Jam Dr. Pepper.
The persistence of 135 years of experience. The performance that has enabled us to work with more than half the Fortune 500. The strength of one of the largest financial services companies in America. Rely on the strength of Pacific Life.
ABC Sports presentation of college football is brought to you by Bud Light, for the great taste that won't fill you up and never let you down. Make it a Bud Light. By Sprint, proudly offering picture mail and PCS Vision picture phones. And by Pontiac. Vote for this week's Ultimate Pontiac High Performance Play at ESPN.com/Pontiac. Beautiful view from the blimp. The aerial coverage tonight provided by Outback Steakhouse. And we thank them for being here and certainly the pictures that they are providing.
You know, Timmy, we were just talking about the heat that Joe Paterno's been taking. And I understand the fans' frustration. If they lose, if they have another losing season this year, it'll be 3 out of the last 4. They've lost 4 in a row, 2 out of the last 3 years. I agree. He's bought all the time in the world, and they will be good next year. But I can understand the frustration.
I think they're spoiled. I think every team in the country goes through this. Mills has to throw it away. I mean, Notre Dame's going through it. You name a school that hasn't been through it. Every school has been through it. It's secular.
Well, but it's the
and the 25-85 rule lends to that.
I agree, but it does get a bit frustrating when it goes on for 4 or 5 years. It is cyclical. Florida State went through it, but it was a year or two. It wasn't, they had the great team last year that at times was probably the best team in the country. And you get the feeling that last year was harder on Joe Paterno than this year has been because he himself had such high expectations for last year's club.
Joe Paterno has forgotten more football than most coaches ever learn. Second down and long. They need 10 for the first. Here comes Mills, the end around. Ohio State's all over it. They're going to lose yardage. Let's take you back to Manhattan and John Saunders. John?
Oklahoma State not packing it in just yet. Jason White back to pass. Darren Williams steps in front of it and then just strolls into the end zone, covers 11 yards. They missed the point after, but now it's just 24-9.
Does Darren Williams ever get a ball in his hands that he doesn't score with? We did Oklahoma State a few weeks ago. He's returning punts, interceptions. He's always taking it to the end zone.
8-play drive, 39 yards, but it's third down and 14. Out of the gun. Mills. Dangerous pass. Flags fly for the Well, what they call here? Do they call interference?
Yeah, they're going to have to on A.J. Hawk. He was there.
But the Buckeyes are pointing back at Penn State. I thought it was Hawk who hit him early.
Well, I think Will Smith is upset because he got held. But A.J. Hawk got there on Kranchik just a half-second early.
It is against A.J. Hawk.
Kranchik's such a mismatch guy. He's a former wide receiver. He's got good speed.
The ball will be placed at the spot of the foul with an automatic first down.
How about Kranchik? Kranchik is 6'8", 254 pounds, former basketball player. He's become a big-time guy for these Nittany Lions.
He was a wide receiver. He was purposely keeping weight off because he didn't want to go to tight end. He finally went to tight end last year, and he's tough because he still has that 4.6 speed. You cover him with a linebacker, even though Hawk is supremely fast. Very difficult.
He had those 4 catches against Wisconsin. First down, Penn State. Look for a hole in the middle. They've got one. It's Austin Scott. And Scott's out to the 38-yard line. Nate Sally tripped him up after a gain of 5, and it looked like it would be a lot more when he broke that first line.
And what does Sean McHugh? This guy does everything. We saw him catch a pass earlier. He's the second leading receiver on the team. But he plays a true fullback, and that time he did a wonderful job on A.J. Hawk. Locked him up, got his hands inside, and did not allow Hawk to come off of that block to get to Austin Scott. But it did look like Scott was going to bounce that for a bigger gain.
Mills on 2nd and 5, throws, and it's intercepted. Intercepted by Dustin Fox, his 3rd of the year.
And this was thrown behind Terrence Phillips. As Phillips went to cut out, it was put not on his backside shoulder, on the outside. And Dustin Fox, a guy that Frank Ganner last year thought, we might be able to take some shots at Fox.
Well, he's Ohio State's most experienced quarterback. And at that corner, he's got 3 picks.
They worked on him early in the game, but this ball just thrown behind Terrence Phillips by Zach Mills.
Well, that's what Fox
catch.
loves. You mentioned that his brother Derek played strong safety for Penn State in 96, 97, 98. Also played for the Colts. So Dustin Fox, the guy Joe Paterno's known since 7th grade, makes a big pick here.
Here you go. All right, thanks. Oh, the new 20. Yeah.
We've changed a lot to make the new money more secure. Look for the color-shifting ink, the watermark portrait, and the embedded security thread.
Oh, you're good.
The new color of money. Safer, smarter, more secure.
Can I get a new 20?
Under center is Wangler at the 45. He goes back. He's looking for a receiver. He throws downfield to Carter.
Pick your all-time Pontiac high-performance play at ESPN.com/Pontiac. You can also enter for a chance to win a new V8 Bonneville GXP and VIP access to the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl.
Here's the cover. He mentioned in football. You cannot believe it.
A
I'm wanted in 4 states, but it's all good. Got me new driver's license and a sweet new pickup. V8, baby, 500 horsepower. Oh, and 4 of them mud flaps with the naked ladies on them. Mamacita. And the best part is, it's all free. Yeah, well, for me at least.
Introducing City Identity Theft Solutions. Free with any City card. Help getting your life back? That's using your card wisely.
A serial killer, a deadly copycat, lead these cops to desperate measures. I'll bury you. That's right. An all-new Blue, ABC Tuesday, 10/9 Central.
Fox with the interception has changed the momentum of this ball game as Scott McMullen has taken over at quarterback for Craig Krenzel, led him on a drive in his first possession of the second half, and here he is again, first down and 10 for the Buckeyes. And throws behind Hartsock, who had a step.
Well, but Sam Rui made sure that McMullen had to get that ball out of his hands long before he wanted to. Rui was working a lot with the first team, him and Levon Chisley moving out. But the left tackle, Rob Sims, goes out to pick up the cornerback thinking the guard is going to be sliding with him, and Rui just came absolutely free.
They need 10 on second down. Hall. And Hall bounces outside and picks up a yard. Mo Hall hit by Zamitis. Once he broke the crowd, he's dangerous, but they got him.
Well, and Tom Bradley, you know, we talked to him during the week. I spent a long time with him yesterday. And the adjustment he has made is he has his linebackers on that power play coming up and meeting the pulling guard. And that's been a really, really fine adjustment by Tom Bradley, getting Ohio State in some third and long situations.
Defense better start wrapping up. They didn't do well that time, but they made the play. Third down and 9. Longest third down for McMullen yet, and he almost throws the pick. Oh my, Rich Gardner was there like a shortstop. It was intended for Chris Gamble. Let's go back to New York. John Saunders. John.
Florida and Georgia exchanging field goals until Chris Leak just tosses this one to Carlos Perez, and he does all of the work. 34 yards for the touchdown. So much speed he ran, and he fell down. 10-3 is the score right now. Meantime, look at Tennessee in a big-time struggle with Duke.
Ohio State has to give it back here to Humphrey, and Humphrey lets it hit. Special teams for Penn State, which has played well tonight, almost made a mistake there.
Yeah,
and Joe knows it.
Yeah,
a 54-yard punt.
Sorry, Tim, but Vindemia was back there, and you're getting the Peter call, meaning run away, and he didn't run away fast enough.
Boy, I tell you what, Joe Paterno, we talked about him, fired up at the pep rally last night like I'd never seen him before. That his dad was a boxer, and all you need is 3 punches. The hook
of this
one. Oh, you gotta love him.
He's the best.
And the people last night at that pep rally responded. I thought the building was going to come down.
Well, his team has they have a hook today. They haven't in the past, but they've got a hook, they've got a this, and they've got an uppercut so far. Their defense just stood up to a massive challenge after an interception thrown by Zach Mills. They stood up to the challenge and got the ball back in his hands.
But they need to eat up some of the clock, give the defense a rest. Hunt in the ball game now, tailback. They try to throw out of the backfield. They do. McHugh has played well tonight, has his 4th catch, including a touchdown. Chris Gamble made the stop. Chris Gamble going both ways. The All-American, just spectacular player. Teammates voted him the MVP last year. You mentioned the 16 pounds he's put on. Did not lose any quickness.
None. Put most of it on in his upper body. Had a rough outing against Wisconsin. Got to get that in his past. And that's those corners. The best attribute they can have is a lack of short-term memory.
So after a gain of 2 by McHugh, it's 3rd down and 8 for the Nittany Lions. Jack Mills has gone cold. He needs to step up and make a throw. Flags fly. Pressure's coming. He's out of the tackle box. And he runs it out to the 17-yard line, but we'll wait and see what the penalty's about. Puggage was coming hard. And it's against the Nittany Lions.
Find that if you're Ohio State. Get it to 4th down.
Joe Paterno's club is young. And in a game like this where you're fighting back and forth, the young teams invariably will make mistakes.
Well, in that time, Zach could have made a mistake.
For less than 7 men on the line of scrimmage on the offense. And that penalty is declined, 4th down.
What I was going to say, it was very wise of him just to pull it down. But with all those young wide receivers, Tony Johnson not playing, suspended for the 2nd game, charged with DUI a few weeks ago. You've got all these young kids. Sometimes they forget, am I covering up a tackle? Am I on the tight end? Do I have to back out? You just got to look down the line of scrimmage and see if you've got to cover somebody up.
Capano's back to punt for Penn State, and Michael Jenkins is standing at the 41.
Do not kick this down the middle of the field. Get this over. The left-footed kicker, Capanos, try to get it over to the left numbers.
Using almost all of the play clock, but they better get it off now. Down to 3. Just get it off. This is not a really good punt. But it takes a Penn State bounce and is down at the 47. So a 36-yard punt. Capanos not happy with it. He averages well over 42 yards. And this 36-yarder gives Ohio State terrific field position.
But Capanos had to rush that kick because of the pressure. It looked like there might be a leak in the middle. And Joe, the other day when we were out of practice, just working over the punt protection team. Still working up and down. And Tom Bradley said, you know, it's good to see this old guy get his ire up a little bit the other day at practice.
So McMullen comes on for his 3rd possession. First down Buckeyes with great field position, trailing by 3. Ross bounces outside, picks up a couple of yards. You know, yesterday we sat down with Jim Tressel, head coach at Ohio State, and we asked him what the national championship has done to the Buckeyes.
You know, I think like any time that you have some success, it makes future success even more difficult. I think history has proven that out in a lot of areas. We talked about that a lot. I think it's real that you know, everyone plays tough against Ohio State because, you know, that's just the way it is, and they'll play even tougher now because you happen to be wearing the crown.
Got that big bullseye on your back. 2nd down and 8. Penn State's played well today. Here's McMullen, throws to Hartsock, and Hartsock to the 45-yard line, short of the 1st down. Clock continues to move, stays in bounds. 34 seconds remain in the period.
That was a nice play by Hartsock as he went to release. McMullen had to double clutch it because Hartsock slipped and fell, but very quickly did not give up on the play as you would expect a senior not to do, but did a really nice job of coming back.
Time permitting, stay tuned for the Thrifty Car Rental postgame report featuring scores and highlights from across the country, and there have been some sensational games today. Michigan State with that matchup. Oklahoma State playing now. Miami and Virginia Tech later tonight. And Penn State leading the Buckeyes of Ohio State here by 3. 3rd down and 2. And they blow a whistle and stop the play. The end of the 3rd period has come, and they stop it. So 15 minutes remain. Penn State leads by 3. ABC Sports presentation of college football will return after this message and a word from our ABC stations.
They did the monster mash. It was a graveyard smash. It caught on in a flash. They did them all.
By out-accelerating, out-handling, and outperforming the competition, the A Grand Prix Comp G earned Pontiac the right to become the official performance machines of the NCAA. The newly redesigned 2004 Pontiac Grand Prix. Fuel for the soul.
I brake for yard sales.
I brake for animals.
I brake for
Chocolate. My grandkids.
Boys.
I brake for little old ladies.
Bingo.
UFOs.
I brake for free oil changes.
Visit your Midas mechanic now and get a free oil change with any Midas brake job, including installation of our lifetime guaranteed brakes. That's a free oil change. And brake pads or shoes guaranteed for as long as you own your car.
I brake for no apparent reason.
Sunday, a black defense attorney, a white supremacist.
I know who and what you are.
Only one thing will free him from a charge of murder, but it's a secret he wants buried forever.
You will not speak of this information.
The Practice after Alias, an all-new ABC Sunday starts 9/8 Central.
There are places I remember.
Life has rules, but no simple answers.
Why did this happen?
Now a family must find the strength to carry on.
In my life.
The special one-hour return of 8 Simple Rules, Tuesday at 8/7 Central on ABC.
Shocks and the best of Nike team basketball. Available at Hooptown. Only at Dick's Sporting Goods.
You're watching college football on ABC Sports, home of the Bowl Championship Series.
All set now for the final 15 minutes of what has become a Big Ten shootout. Ohio State and Penn State, 3 points separate them. This game has been spectacular. Ohio State in its very first possession went 74 yards. Ross scored. It was 7-0 Ohio State. Then McHugh from Mills for Penn State. Zamitis, an interception off Prenzel, 14-7. And Kimball kicked a 42-yard field goal. The first possession for the Buckeyes this half, Jenkins had a 4-yard touchdown pass from McMullen to make it 17-14 after an 80-yard drive. And here goes McMullen now, and Penn State bats it away. So 108,000 people in Beaver Stadium this afternoon, and they are loving every minute of this one.
And you have to give Tom Bradley and his defensive staff, defensive line coach Larry Johnson, safeties coach Brian Norwood, and linebackers coach Ron Vanderlinden, a tip of the hat. I know we've got a quarter to go, but this defense that has been run up and down the field, they've given up over 200 yards. There's a look at Larry Johnson. The defensive line coach has done a great job so far.
Lowry will look at this ball and take it at the 16-yard line. That's where he fair catches it. So again, Penn State will start backed up. A 28-yard punt, but gets the job done very effectively. B.J. Sanders done a marvelous job this afternoon.
And this is where Jim Tressel at Ohio State has excelled. If you want to play the field position game against me and my defense, I will do it all day long. And at 17-14, even though they're down, Jim Tressel has to like his chances.
Well, and he's got 2 great kickers, too, and B.J. Sanders, the punter, and Mike Nugent, a first-team All-American, as his kicker.
Sanders, replacing All-American Andy Groom, has had a great year.
Mills, end around, looks for a block, gets through the 20, and pushes it out to the 23-yard line. Let's go back to Manhattan. John Saunders in Times Square Stadium.
For a little bit of history here, guys, Juwan Walker, running back, takes the pitch, and then he pitches it to Larry Fitzgerald. His 14th touchdown reception in a row, at least as far as games go, with at least one. And now with 1,174 yards, that leads the nation, and he has an NCAA Division I-A record.
Breaking that record, Charles Rogers set just last year.
I think Johnny Majors looks like he designed that play years ago. Tony Hunt with his first carry of the ball game, stopped by Will Allen.
Well, you set records these days, and they've gone the next year. Charles Rogers set that record at Michigan State, although should make a mention that that includes a bowl game. For some reason, we decided a few years ago to start including bowl games in our records. I understand that one. I would get, you know what? You need some momentum, perhaps a big play. Get Mills moving a little bit here.
This is 3rd down and 1. Out of the gun. I don't know why he started so far back when they only needed 1 yard.
Did he fight to get that, though?
He got the first. Wow. Zach Mills playing his heart out tonight. Looked like he was stopped well short of the first, and then lunged and got it.
I agree, though. I don't like the design of the play. If you're going to run it and you need a yard, even though Zach has played extremely well.
Watch this.
Yeah, he's not the biggest guy in the world.
He's not small, though. It's 6'3", 215.
And he does a great job of protecting the ball. Darian Scott is reaching in there, protects it, and fights forward for the first down.
You know, I thought the same thing, that Zach wasn't that big and stood next to him. He's every bit of 6'3". First down, Penn State. Play action, good fake by Mills this time. It throws a strike. Humphrey's got another first down, and the Nittany Lions were on the move. 5 catches for Maurice Humphrey, the freshman.
At the start of this game, we were talking about Zach Mills. Him and Michael Robinson battled it out all week in practice to see who would start. Mills finally 100% healthy from that left knee sprain he suffered against Minnesota. And we have not seen Michael Robinson, and for good reason. Zach Mills has put this team on his shoulders, and he's willing them to win. And Mark D'Antonio knows all about Mills. 2 years ago here at Penn State, 418 yards of total offense for Mills, still a Penn State record.
There are the numbers on the freshman who gets his second start here in place of the suspended Tony Johnson. Mills goes to the outside this time and looks for another freshman, Donnie Johnson, but this one's overthrown. Let's go downstairs to Samantha Ryan.
Hey, Timmy, when Dustin Fox made that pick in the 3rd quarter, I guess you could say he pulled a Derek Fox, his brother Derek. 2 picks in the Alamo Bowl and 99 for Penn State. What were you thinking when we made that pick?
It's hard to describe. I caught myself going like this, you know, real excited, but at the same time, I'm on the blue and white sideline, so I kind of got to watch my annex over here, but I'm excited for him. He's doing well. How
difficult is this game for you and your family to watch, being here on the Penn State sideline, your brother playing on Ohio State?
It's hard. It's Halloween weekend, and my wife has my daughters. One is in Ohio State cheerleading outfit, the other's in Penn State, so it's a tough weekend.
Speaking of DBs like Fox, there's a great play by Gamble. Crowd wanted pass interference, but he's got as much right to that ball as anybody, and he was making a play on the ball. Watch the top of your screen.
And Gamble does a good job. Humphrey gets inside, and he's reaching for the ball. You're right, Tim. He's not going through the offensive player. Humphrey, he's trying to make a play on it, and his time on offense really benefits him on defense, because he reads the route, he knows what Humphrey is trying, the spot he's trying to get to, and he gets there first.
That's an All-American working on a freshman. It brings up a 3rd down and 10, and there's movement everywhere. This is one of those he moved first, no, he moved first. It looked like it was Quinn Pitcock of Ohio State.
Prior to the snap, offside with contact on the defense. 5 yards, still 3rd down.
Very quickly, let's go back to Sam.
All right, Derek, now Dustin originally committed to Penn State. What changed his mind?
It really was when Tressel came to the house. He was in our living room. He was inspiring. He really appealed to what we believe in and what we want to do as human beings and as football players and people in the community. He blew us away when he came in the house. He's got a ring now. It's hard to question that. So.
And I guess you win whoever wins tonight, right there?
Exactly.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
3rd down for Mills, and he does it again. This time, Maurice Humphrey makes the catch inside the 45, gets the first down, and they move the chains. This time, he was working on Derek's brother, Dustin.
And again, Dustin, respecting that young speed of Humphrey, plays way off. You can only play where they tell you to line up, but I think you got to shrink this cushion a little bit. This is the 2nd time that he's given too much cushion to Humphrey, and it's just a simple out cut. Zach Mills throws it right on time, not allowing Fox to make a break on the ball.
What a gutty performance by Zach Mills today, coming back from that knee injury. 19 of 29, over 200 yards. The pitch back to Upton, and he's hit immediately. Loses yardage, and still Penn State really struggling with its ground game.
Well, you're not going to get much side to side with Ohio State defensively. We've talked about that defensive line, the deepest line by far in the country. You could make the argument who's got a better D-line, Oklahoma or Ohio State, but the depth on that defensive line, they protect those linebackers and just let them sprint to the ball.
I agree, and they continue to put Penn State in long situations, bringing up 2nd and long, 3rd and long. You keep going 3rd and long like that, and that's like dogs chasing cars. It doesn't last.
I think Frank Ganner's just trying to keep it interesting. He knows on 3rd and long, Zach's going to make a big play.
2nd down and 14. Look out. Sets up the screen. It's perfect. Here's McHugh, and McHugh is close to another 1st down. And folks, he almost broke it the distance. Dustin Fox tripped him up, or he was gone.
This is a late developing fullback screen, and Dustin Fox at first had it smelled out.
Oh, he didn't get a good mark.
But watch him miss originally. He'll miss McHugh as McHugh works into the line.
You think Zach Mills could have waited any longer?
You got an all-out blitz, and Dustin Fox came up. He went on to take on the center, Koslow, but that's a good hustle play by Fox because I think with that convoy in front of him, McHugh scores.
There are McHugh's numbers. It's a pickup of 16. Penn State gets the 1st.
But Mills was the key there. You're right, Timmy. He waited forever before he threw that fullback screen.
And McHugh picks up a yard.
This is the best run defense in the country, and you start to get an idea why.
Well, when you look at the defensive line, there are 3 Lombardi candidates with Scott and Anderson and Smith. Then you had Simon Frazier, who's come on, and he was the Big Ten Player of the Week for his effort against your alma mater, Washington.
And I tell you, the guy who, Tim Anderson, number 54, 3-year starter on that defensive line. He doesn't get as much love as Will Smith because Will gets all the sacks. But when you talk to opposing coaches, this is the guy who makes things happen, allows guys like Smith and A.J. Hawk to run around and make the big plays. He's anchoring that middle.
Well, he's got to fill the gap and take on any of the running lanes. Here's Mills again. Waits a long time and then throws incomplete, intended for Lukac. And so it brings up another 3rd down and long for Penn State. But they are eating up some of the clock. It's down to 10-17 remaining in the ball game, and the Nittany Lions still lead by 3. Well, Tom Brady, or time permitting rather, stay tuned for the Thrifty Car Rental postgame report featuring scores and highlights from across the country.
And right now, Penn State is in David Kimball territory. Remember, he's taking over for Robbie Gould. He kicked one earlier that would have been good from about 65 yards. But they've got to be thinking 1st down, and here comes the pressure from D'Antonio, defense coordinator of Ohio State.
Here they come. He needs 9. Throws over the middle.
Oh, you got to throw it. Oh, boy.
No flag.
Oh, boy.
That ball was perfectly thrown and broken up by Fox.
And Kranchik lines up wide, and the crowd is reacting. Boy, it really looked to me like Dustin Fox got there early.
Crowd just saw it on the big screen.
Matt Kranchik. Oh, you got to call it.
You've got to.
Yeah, you've got to call that. You've got to call that. A good job by Fox getting his right hand over there, but he made contact early. Earlier, we saw Gamble go through with both hands, try to knock it down. That time, Fox makes shoulder contact with Kranchik. That's a big missed call by these officials.
This is a 48-yard attempt, and now a timeout is taken. Joe Paterno's hot. Joe Paterno's out on the field.
He absolutely should be.
Be cool, Joe.
You know, he's taken some heat about how much he gets after the officials, but the problem is he's been right almost every time, and he's got a right to be really hot right now. It's an automatic 1st down.
He's maintaining his composure, though, and nobody, and I mean nobody, is calmer and cooler on the sidelines than Jim Tressel. 2 great ones here today.
Boy, Mills waited till, Mills is very lucky that A.J. Hawk, watch A.J. Hawk fly by.
He hit him before the ball was released.
That's Carpenter coming from the outside. Hawk was coming from the other, and Hawk was going to try to one to him through a whiff, or otherwise Mills would have been woozy about right now. No, he's still working him.
He says horrible call. Read his lips from up here. Horrible call.
Well, horrible no call. That was clearly pass interference. And it was a good personnel grouping by Gander to get Kranchik out there at 6'8", 254 pounds against Dustin Fox. And you can't blame Fox for trying to make a play on the ball, but he got there just half a click early.
Talks so much about Joe Paterno as a winner, and he built Penn State. Says he is certainly facing one of his most difficult challenges with such a young team. He's never been around a 2-6 football team 60 years. Last time was in junior high school, and I think they won the conference the next year.
And you've got to feel good for David Kimball. Local kid from State College area high school. 42-yarder. It's career long. It's the only one he's ever kicked. He's got plenty of leg.
Good snap. Good hold. Kimball's got distance. From 48 yards out, he splits the sticks. And Kimball adds 3 more for the Nittany Lions.
Good for him. Robbie Gould, who had a sensational year last year, was just struggling. He was struggling along with the offense. I mean, Gould, all of his misses, all 6 of his misses were outside of 40 yards because of the lack of productivity offensively for Penn State. Joe's still working the officials. But they wanted to give this young man a chance. He just booms his kickoffs. Jim Tressel said, you know, he kicks every single one out of the stadium. We may not even set up a return. And the coaches this week just deciding, hey, you know what? He's been at the program. He's a senior, a local guy. He deserves a shot, and he's making the most of it.
So Penn State extends its lead to 20-14 with 10:09 to play. And Joe still works. 13 plays, 53 yards. They took 4:42 off the clock, and the 48-yard field goal capped it.
Well, all of that work that Joe's putting into the officials might be paying off. It didn't pay off on that call, but they're the least penalized team in the Big Ten this year.
So Ohio State has scored on its first possession in both halves. They need something to be generated here as Gamble gets ready to return this kick.
Kimball needs to kick this one. You do not want number 7 with the ball in his hands. Get this out of the end zone.
He does.
This guy's amazing.
It's through the uprights again.
He's 3 for 3 now. He is a cannon.
Crowd loves him.
That young man's going to get him a shot in the NFL with that kind of leg, if for any other reason, just to kick off.
Well, tomorrow everything has changed, except everything you love about the Emmy-winning practice. The press calls it the #1 surprise of the new fall season. Part of Sunday's best, the practice, 9 Central right here on ABC. 108,000 plus, Beaver Stadium. And they're all on their feet, and it's deafening. First down for McMullen. Throws a strike to Hartsock, and they move the chains. Or do they? No, he's short of the first down. He has 3 catches. Looking at the wrong line.
Hartsock does such a nice job. He's such a big body. 6'4", 200 and almost 70 pounds. He goes about 265. For a while there, he was just an extra offensive lineman. But he's put up some really impressive numbers catching the ball this year.
Second down and 3. Ross, first down, Buckeyes. Picks up 9, and here comes Ohio State, the defending national champions. The Buckeyes have won 21 of their last 22 ball games. They only lost 3 weeks ago in the rain against Wisconsin.
And what great vision that time by Lydell Ross. They're running the power play that we've talked about all night where the left guard pulls. That time he follows the guard and he cuts it back to the left side. That's where the soft spot was.
Ross straight ahead, tripped up, absolutely nothing. Defensively, Andrew Gooman got there to trip him up. 9:02 remaining in the ball game. Big Ten matchup between the defending national champion Ohio State Buckeyes and the Nittany Lions of Penn State. Tim Brandt, Ed Cunningham, and Sam Ryan. Penn State having lost 4 games in a row But under Joe Paterno, they've never lost 5 straight. This young team playing its heart out tonight against a very solid Ohio State team. The Buckeyes scored on their very first possession of the game and first possession of the second half. But Kimball of Penn State has just hit a 48-yarder to make it 2014 Nittany Lions. And they sack McMullen. Greg Krenzel was hurt near the end of the first half. He has not come back in the ball game. McMullen has taken over, and he goes down as Derek Tolles gets to him.
This is the kitchen sink blitz. Tom Bradley, he knows he can rely on the 2 cornerbacks that he coaches, Rich Gardner and Zamitis. So they bring everybody, all one-on-one coverage behind it. Tolles gets in there. He had the big hit on Krenzel that knocked him out of the game. A young man who's fighting some illness, did not play every single snap. Another big play by Tolles.
It brings up 3rd down and 13. McMullen's got plenty of time and looks deep. Intercepted by Penn State. No. The Buckeyes will have to punt. Israel couldn't hold on to it. So Penn State defensively makes a stop. And the Buckeyes with 7:40 left in the game have to give it back.
If you take away the first drive of the game and the first drive of the second half, this Penn State defense looks like the Ohio State defense. This is as well as they've played. They're young up front. Tom Bradley, the defense coordinator, has rotated guys through, keeping them fresh. They have played great.
B.J. Sander gets off a high tail wagger. This ball is called for the fair catch and dropped. Whistle actually blew before he dropped it. But a 43-yard punt, and after a dangerous play, Penn State gets it back. Folks, we've got a good one here in Happy Valley. 7:32 to play.
Then Boggs replaces your picture phone with dynamite and your head blows clean off. You do have an extra head, don't you, boy?
No, this is the...
Props!
It's my commercial. It's my phone. It's mine. What's the matter, friend? Your phone don't take pictures. Uh-oh. Smile, Debbie.
So who should we send it to?
Stop the press it.
Picture mail from Sprint. Now at Sprint stores. Get a PCS Vision picture phone for $99.99.
Ow.
In 1868, an American tradition was beginning, and Pacific Life was founded, both built on principles of persistence, performance, and strength. 135 years later, those beliefs still guide Pacific Life. It's how we help so many businesses and individuals reach their financial goals. For insurance, annuities, and investments, rely on the strength of Pacific Life. Proud sponsor of the Pacific Life Holiday Bowl.
Simple, really. If we could get everybody in the country to drive the all-new Chevy Malibu, we think you'd agree. It's just about perfect.
They were expecting, but were they expecting this?
What even looks like twins?
Twins!
No, it's just an extremely big head.
And all new My Wife and Kids, 8/7 Central, ABC Wild Wednesday.
With Oklahoma leading Oklahoma State 38-9. That game well in control. We welcome most of you who have been watching that game to Happy Valley, where Penn State is playing the game of the season for them. Tim Brandt, Ed Cunningham, Samantha Ryan down on the field. Ed, it's got to be a little bit of a surprise for you, huh?
Well, you look at this team for Penn State. They are so young on their defensive front, so inexperienced on their offensive line, and it just set up for a disaster against such a good Ohio State defense. But Tom Bradley, the defensive coordinator, and Fran Gannon, the offensive coordinator for Penn State, have called beautiful games.
Well, they pick up the blitz here on the quarterback draw. Zach Mills, who has been spectacular, picks up the first down, a gain of 11. Let's go back to New York. John Saunders. John?
Well, just to put this one to bed, because it was never close, Florida State and Notre Dame. Chris Ricks, 38 yards to Profonso Thorpe. Nice move there to beat the tackle. 7 receptions, 217 yards, and a pair of touchdowns in a 37-0 win.
All right, John, and speaking of quarterbacks, Zach Mills here, 20 of 32, 214 yards, the touchdown, and he has been spectacular in this game. Penn State leading 20-14. Mills in trouble. Does he throw it away? Yes. Threw it where only his guy had a chance.
Yeah, he was trying to get that to Humphrey. Let's take a look at our Pacific Life game summary. For those of you just joining us, you missed an excellent play by Alan Zamitis. He reads the out cut, takes it 78 yards for the touchdown, and then Krenzel gets hit right in the sternum by Derek Tolles. He was a little woozy. Jim Tressel told Sam Ryan at halftime that he is available, but we're just concerned because they had to check his eyes. He was okay, but they're going with Scott McMullen.
So Krenzel has not been back. McMullen has played quite well. But Penn State's defense has been sensational. 6:54 to play in the ball game. Zach Mills looks a little slow coming around the corner, but breaks the tackle and gets to the 39-yard line. Not enough for the first to pick up a 3.
And Zach is, you know, when we talk to the Ohio State coaches about the difference between Zach Mills and Michael Robinson, the other quarterback at Penn State that we're working all week, Jim Tressel and Mark D'Antonio, as defense coordinator, said both of those guys can run, so you have to be ready for it. And that time Ohio State did a pretty nice job getting out there and putting Penn State in another third and medium to long situation, but they've been able to convert them.
Nate Sally gets credit for another tackle, and folks, he has been all over the field tonight. We've been calling Sally's name the safety all afternoon. Third down and long. Backside pressure, Mills throws out of bounds. And the Nittany Lions now will have to punt. Zach Mills is upset. He is really hot.
Well, because a receiver didn't run a hot.
And he's running right down to that receiver, freshman Donnie Johnson.
And Donnie Johnson, I mean, he was a guy who was a running back, and then they moved him to wide receiver, and then back to running back when Austin Scott got sick. He was on the side of Robert Reynolds, and when Robert Reynolds broke for a blitz, Donnie Johnson had to cut that off and did not.
Talked about the Krenzel injury, but another big injury in this ball game is Gerald Smith, the receiver for Penn State, who is out, and that's why Donnie Johnson is playing so much, taking the place of Smith.
They just can't make the adjustments of 4th and 5th year players, and that's been one of the biggest problems for this offense.
Campanos gets off a nice high punt. Jenkins takes it at the 17. Reverses his field and gets out to the 27. A 43-yard punt and return of 10 yards. And that's where the Buckeyes will have it. Time now becoming a factor. 5:55 to play. 20-14 Penn State.
The right truck.
Black coffee to go.
Does your truck have better resale value than Ford and Dodge? A Silverado half-ton pickup does.
Hey guys, what's up? Hey, is this your truck? What's it going for? What do you mean, what's it going for? Let me make you an offer. It's not for sale. Leave it here. It's for sale. It's not for sale.
Silverado. It's the right truck from Chevy. Silverado is the only full-size pickup available with OnStar.
Taco Bell's Zesty Chicken Bowl. Grilled all-white meat chicken, seasoned rice, cheese, lettuce, and Fiesta salsa. Made right when you order it for a fresh taste that's hard to top. Show off. For fresh-made taste, think outside the bun.
Stronger. More comfortable. Guaranteed. Wrangler 5-star premium quality denim. Wrangler. Real comfortable jeans.
On the road and stuck trying to get business email in all the wrong places? Get Verizon Wireless Remote Email Access. Stay productive and in touch when you're away from the office.
Can you hear me now? Good.
Now ask how you can save up to $200 on select wireless PDAs and BlackBerry devices.
Verizon Wireless. We never stop working for you.
108,000 watching this Big Ten matchup as ABC Sports presentation of college football is brought to you by Miller High Life. To live simply, proudly, boldly, manly. This is the High Life. Verizon Wireless. We never stop working for you. The Principal Financial Group. We understand what you're working for. And by Chevy Silverado. It is the right truck. Aerial coverage tonight provided by Outback Steakhouse, and what a beautiful scene it has been here in the Valley. 108,276, and I think we'll go for a bloomin' onion when this one's done. 5:55 to play. Penn State leads 20-14. Big possession here for the Buckeyes. Swing pass. Ross breaks a tackle and gets out to the 35. His first catch for a big gain.
Just talking the last possession of Ohio State, how good Penn State has been defensively. If you take out the 2 touchdowns at the beginning of the game and the beginning of the second half, here is what Ohio State has done with the ball without the touchdown drives. It has been spectacular for Penn State. 154 yards on those 2 touchdown drives, 80 on the other possessions.
But the toughest thing for a young team to do is finish. And you're playing the defending national champions, and the Buckeyes are extremely talented. Ohio State has been in this possession many times before as they help Ross to the sideline.
He took a good shot. Ross has been the guy. Oh, he took a knee to the head. That was Chris Harrell, the free safety that came over, and it was a knee to the head right at the end of the play, right in the ear hole.
But he picked up good yardage, and it's 2nd down and 4. Mo Hall is now your tailback. McMullen, he's got the first down. Scott McMullen has played very well since he's come in for Krenzel. Picks up 6.
And McMullen's going to be the guy to finish this out because he was looking at Krenzel. He's taking his shoulder pads off. Jim Tressel told Sam that he would be available. And if they have to go even deeper, Justin Zwick, the redshirt freshman, now moves up to 2nd string.
Under 5 minutes to play. They bring the blitz. Hit Hartsock, and Hartsock picks up maybe 2.5, 3 yards. That's it. Good coverage by Yoko of Israel.
Talking to offensive coordinator Jim Bowman of Ohio State and Jim Tressel, who calls the plays. They were saying Penn State, Tom Bradley takes so many chances. You should be able to get some big shots in, but so far, Bradley has been guessing right all day.
Calvin Lowry, a young one, comes in at safety. They throw that way, and there's a completion and a first down. Michael Jenkins makes the catch. Michael Jenkins, he was involved in 100 plays in each of the last 4 games last year. So here we are now in the final 4 games, and Gamble and Jenkins, they're all starting to play big. You put Gamble on the opposite side of Jenkins, it makes him that more
exactly. You got Gamble down here. You got Bam Childress, Jenkins in the slot. A lot of guys for McMullen to look at.
McMullen scrambles to the 40, to the 39-yard line. Alan Zamitis made the tackle after a gain of 9.
You said something a few moments ago that is so true about this young Penn State defense. Remember the guys that they lost. I mean, let's not forget Jimmy Kennedy and Michael Haynes and Anthony Adams and all those guys who were 1st and 2nd round picks. All of these freshmen, sophomore, and juniors on this defensive line get tired, and Tom Bradley's got to get some other guys rotating in during this drive.
.324 remaining in the ball game. 20-14, Penn State. McMullen in for the injured Krenzel, and they don't get the first. Scott Paxson with a big tackle on Mo Hall.
Paxson, one of those young guys, just a sophomore, very active in the middle. All of these guys have ability, and that time Paxson does a great job of knifing in. Down block, spins out of it. Wow, that's athleticism by Paxson.
108,000 on their feet. 3rd down and 3 for the defending national champs. over the middle. First down, Buckeyes. Big-time catch by Ben Hartsock. He has 5 catches, and McMullen, spectacular, put that one on a rope.
And Hartsock had a Derek Tolles costume on. Number 2 was draped all over him. I don't know how Hartsock makes this catch. Hartsock, known for his blocking, has really turned himself into an offensive weapon. And there could not have been better coverage by Derek Tolles.
Well, they wanted offensive pass interference.
No way.
And absolutely no way.
Wait a minute now. Did that ball hit the ground?
Yes, it did.
Yes, it sure looked like it, didn't it?
First down and 10. 5-step drop, double loads. This ball is complete. Look out. Holmes is loose. And Holmes is down to the 15. Gain of 20 with 2:03 to play. Penn State trying to hold on, but the Buckeyes are coming on strong.
The crowd wanted a drop. Let's take a look. It's not even. Oh, my goodness.
The umpire's looking right at it.
You know what that reminds me of, Tim? You remember the interception that Phillip Rivers was credited with?
I'll tell you what blows my mind is the umpire was looking right at it.
Oh, boy. That's 2 really bad missed calls by the officials here late in this ballgame. They missed the PI on Kranchik as well.
McMullen chased out. He's got room. Down to the 11-yard line. Goes out of bounds, stops the clock with 1:56 to play.
With that coverage, I couldn't, and I hate to go back to it, but that's going to be the key play because it was 3rd down. But Derek Tolles had absolutely perfect coverage, running right with Hartsock, gets his left hand over and bats it down.
I can't believe the umpires looking at it.
How did nobody behind the umpire? The umpire's trying to finish the play in the middle, not see that from behind.
2nd down. They need 5. McMullen looks right, throws that way, down to the 5-yard line. It's close to a first down. They had to get to the 5 for the first. We'll see where they mark it. Santonio Holmes with another big catch. He's got 5 on the day, and that's a first down for the Buckeyes. So 1st and goal at the 5.
Scott McMullen, he fires that ball. There is no hesitation in his release. I was talking to Jim Lachey, former All-American offensive lineman, Ohio State All-Pro for the Washington Redskins. He does radio for Ohio State. I said, I've seen him play, but tell me what I don't know about McMullen. He said he doesn't care. He lets it go. He doesn't sit in the pocket and hold on to the ball. When he sees it, he fires it.
The Buckeyes are feeling it. They like this position.
Penn State, that's their 3rd.
So Penn State takes a timeout with 1:39 to play and trying to hold on to a 20-14 lead.
We got a problem up here. Tower 12, weather's moving it.
Heading up. Do you have the right truck? Does your truck have a Duramax diesel? Does it have an Allison transmission? Silverado. It's the right truck from Chevy. Silverado is the only full-size pickup available with OnStar.
And for you, sir?
The usual.
Come on, try something new.
It's Olive Garden's new stuffed chicken Sienna. Stuffed with 4 Italian cheeses and topped with a hearty marinara sauce.
Incredible.
You guys, you can order from me anytime.
Olive Garden, when you're here, you're family.
This camera phone, I took the whole picture thing for granted until one day I'm traveling on business, I get this message from my wife.
We're making cookies, Daddy.
A gadget that can make you feel, well, I get it now.
Take a picture, add a voice message, tell it like it really is with Singular's unlimited multimedia messaging for just $2.99 and get phenomenal deals on great camera phones.
I call it my, that's not a tear in my eye, plan.
Picture, voice, and text. Another reason Singular fits you best.
At BASF, we don't make the golf clubs. We make them more powerful. We don't make a lot of the products you buy. We make a lot of the products you buy better. BASF.
If the O'Neills are at a wake, who's watching the bar?
We're here, we're queer. If you want beer, get used to it.
It's all relative. After My Wife and Kids, all new ABC Wild Wednesday.
1:39 left in the ball game. There are your numbers. 20-14, Penn State leads. Those of you waiting for the Southern Cal Washington State game, it's coming up next, right here on ABC Sports. McMullen in for Krenzel, looks to the end zone, touchdown Buckeyes. Michael Jenkins with a terrific catch, and that's why they call him Mr. Clutch.
Well, Jenkins had that huge catch last year against Purdue on 4th and 1, 37 yards. He had a huge catch in the Fiesta Bowl on 4th and 14.
This catch is a classic.
Down. And this is not much of a mismatch. Zemaitis is 6'2", Jenkins 6'5", and he just takes it away. Zemaitis could not get his head around, and that's just good strength in the hands, knowing where the ball's coming in. Good throw by McMullen.
We're tied at 20. The all-important extra point, and Penn State jumps, or somebody does. Flags fly everywhere.
It all goes back to that.
This point
catch.
Becomes huge.
It all goes back to that catch. That was not a catch.
Offside with contact on the defense. Half the distance, replay the try.
And if you go back to that Hartsock drop, you've got to think Tressel probably would have gone for it on 4th down because of the time in the game.
Here's the ball game right here for the Buckeyes. Mike Nugent, the All-American. Almost automatic. Good snap, good hold. The Buckeyes lead by 1 with 1:35 to play.
And now it's time for Zach Mills, who has played lights out today. You've got to cut him loose. 20 for 34, 214 yards, a touchdown interception. Penn State needs a big one out of Zach Mills now.
But Penn State has no timeouts left.
You don't need to be a sanitation engineer to know garbage when you see it. Looks like you'll be folding faster than the Argentine army in '82. Oh, well. Buck up, soldier. The night is young. Lucky for you, there's also a lightweight to live. The high life.
Why do we work? Why do we get up every day and leave the people we love? At the Principal Financial Group, we know you work for more than just a paycheck. For 120 years, the Principal has helped people keep more of the money they make and do more with the money they save. You work hard. We make work hard for you. The Principal Financial Group. We understand what you're working for.
Yo, Nick, where's the dip?
Only Tostitos scoops have the bite-sized bowl-shaped design that's perfect for dipping and dunking every time. So however you like to dip, there's only one Dip Lover's chip.
I own this court. No, I really own this court. You guys got to go.
Tostitos scoops, the Dip Lover's chip.
Michael Jenkins, the senior, the 6'5", 215-pounder with a great catch in the end zone to give the Buckeyes the lead, and we're at 21-20 with 1:35 to play. Here's your singular wireless poll question. If Oklahoma or Miami lose, who should be ranked number 2 in the BCS standings? And you all think USC, and I agree, they're playing as well as anybody in the country right now. And those of you waiting to see USC, Washington
get a good
State,
taste of it.
It's coming up next as soon as this one is over.
Don't write off the Cougars. They've got an awfully good defensive front.
Calvin Lowry's going to bring it back. Looks for a hole and gets out to the 18. So that's where Penn State will start with 1:31 remaining. No timeouts left. And Zach Mills, your quarterback.
And Mills has been playing with such bad field position the entire second half.
Mills 20 of 34, 214 yards, and all he has to do now is get down in Kimball's range, and Kimball has an awfully strong leg. They need a field goal to win.
I got to figure Kimball's range is out around 62, 63 yards, so you're thinking about 45-yard line, and you can take a shot on the plus side of the field.
They need some first downs. Underneath they go.
Go, you got to hustle.
I think McHugh was shocked that nobody was around him.
There. Yep. You've got no timeouts. Clock will stop if you pick up the first down, but don't waste too much time here.
1:15, 14. Hits him up and goes. Mills, backside pressure. Incomplete. Right through the arms of Humphrey. A little bit low and behind him.
You got to throw it again. You cannot try a draw play, because if you get tackled behind the line of scrimmage, you're going to go for it on fourth
Still
regardless.
have plenty of time.
Yeah, but I wouldn't want to be messing around, because without the timeout, if you get a play that's not a first down to get your field goal unit on, it takes 14 to 15 seconds to get everybody lined up, and you've got to factor that into your timeout.
Third down and 2. You have 2 plays to get the first. The clock does stop when you get a first down and move the chains. Over the middle they go. Kranchik has the first. Clock stops at 1:03.
Kranchik, a former wide receiver, last year was begged by the coaches to go to tight end. He gained over 40 pounds to play that position. That time just sets up right in the middle of the linebackers. Easy pitch and catch for Mills.
Offensive line, as young as it is, really has to protect now. Little swing pass. Out of bounds they go with it. Ricky Upton with his first catch goes out of bounds at the 37.
And now Fran Ganner, the offensive coordinator, putting in his veterans. Ricky Upton is a senior. Austin Scott started the game. He's a true freshman. But in this situation, they have so many young guys out at wide receiver. Get a guy like Upton who realizes get over on the swing, get out of bounds, stop the clock.
Very smart crowd. Gone quiet now to give Mills plenty of silence to work with. 53 seconds left. Backside pressure. Mills throws. He's got Kranchik again up across the 40.
Well, and the official kept the clock running because Kranchik, his forward progress was stopped. This was a good call to keep it going. Now, Penn State got to move. 37 seconds. It was the right call by the official, though. Kranchik's forward momentum was stopped.
Down to 30 seconds. Not enough for the first
down. Get going.
23 seconds. Clock continues to move.
Now they're up against it. Now they are really up against it.
15 seconds. Mills, first down. Penn State still on his feet. Out of bounds goes Kranchik.
Oh, boy.
With 5 seconds.
Well, this is going to sound crazy. 48 yards, 50. You'd be at about a 64, 65 yarder. And I don't know if you have time with 5 seconds to run an out route. You're not going to pick up. You don't have enough time to pick up the first down and stop the clock that way. You need 4 or 5 yards. This young man in high school, remember, he's 2 for 2 today. Those are the only, as a senior, the only field goals he has on his career. His high school long was 53 yards, but he has a booming leg.
No shot from here. No shot from here. You got to try to at least get
5 seconds is awful iffy if you're even going to get a shot at it.
And they've got to get out of bounds.
Good job by Ohio State.
Ohio State.
5 seconds left in a 1-point game, and Kimball does have a strong leg, but not that strong.
It'd be 64, 65 yards. And we saw those kicks he kicked earlier. And granted, it would be a totally different mindset for a guy, Kimball, even though he's a senior. His first extended action as the field goal kicker, taking over for Robbie Gould. But I'm just not sure with 5 seconds. I would hate the clock to run out without giving this young man at least a shot.
I know he wants a chance.
Sure. Hometown guy, he's ready to do it.
Well, the Chevrolet players of the game, Scott McMullen, 12 of 17, 112 yards, 2 touchdowns. Came in for Krenzel when Krenzel was hurt. And for Penn State, Zach Mills, 26 of 41, 248 yards, the touchdown and the interception. Chevrolet will make a $1,000 contribution to each general scholarship fund.
If I'm Mark D'Antonio, the defensive coordinator for Ohio State, I'm playing man free, a free safety deep, but I have got to press the receivers of Penn State. I would not give them a chance. And Gamble's backing off. Boy, the out route's going to be there if they want it.
5 seconds to work. They got to go with a kick out. They've got it.
Oh, Gamble backed off. I think you got to play press coverage in that situation.
2 seconds left, and Kimball's coming on to win it.
He's got the leg to do it, Tim.
Now they're on their feet.
Gamble backed off. I think they should have played press coverage. They would not have had time. Keep a safety deep in case something gets by, because if you complete a long ball, the game would have ended.
A 60-yard attempt, and the Buckeyes take another timeout. There's not much wind, but what there is, it's in Kimball's face.
Kimball, a local guy from State College area high school, got the job, the starting job this week. Robbie Gould had been struggling from distance. Kimball had been their kickoff guy. We saw him today booting it through the uprights time and time again on his kickoffs. His career long in this game, 48 yards. His all-time high in high school was 53 yards, but he has way more leg than that.
But your tendency, as you know, especially in this situation, is to drive it to make sure you get the distance.
And for Ohio State, with that great defensive line, overload on the left side of the Penn State offensive line, drive, and get some tall guys behind to leap up and try to get up and block it.
So Kimball has had a 42-yarder and a 48-yarder in this game. The 42-yarder looked like it could have been good from 60 or 70.
It was a bomb. It was an absolute bomb. Let's just hope he's not in his head thinking too much. Just swing that leg and let it happen.
It's very rare, though, to see a guy from this distance, which he's never hit before.
Whole family here checking him out. First-time starter.
Here we go. And another timeout for the Buckeyes.
And you don't think Jim Tressel knows the history of David Kimball?
The double freeze.
And Penn State fans booing, but if this is Jim Tressel saying, no way. I know this is this young man's first game as a starting kicker. Look at Ganner laughing.
Well, he's trying to keep Kimball loose.
And he was the guy who made the decision this week. Joe Paterno allows Fran Ganner to run the kicking game. And Fran, when we talked to him, said, guys, I've got to give this guy a chance. You can say all you want about Robbie Gould. All of the misses he had were from 40-plus because our offense wasn't doing great. But Kimball has been so true to the program. A fifth-year guy out of a local high school. Went to high school, actually, with Chris Ganner, his holder, Fran's son. And I've just got to give this young man a chance.
He's going to get it in front of 108,276 at Beaver Stadium tonight.
I don't know what he's feeling, but I'm nervous for him. I am absolutely, I've got a pit in my stomach for this guy. How about that? High school teammates, Chris Ganner, Fran Ganner's son, is the holder.
Here we go.
For David Kimball, both from State College area high school.
Ohio State 21, Penn State 20, 2 seconds left. Kimball's on to attempt a 60-yarder to win it for Penn State. Good snap, good hold.
Oh, he missed it.
Oh, just short and off to the right. He almost had it.
He lifted a little bit. I think he was worried about what we were talking about, driving it. He got his foot under the ball, just a touch.
Watch how close this is. Just short and to the right.
I think he was worried about what we were talking about, Tim, about driving the ball, and I think he maybe compensated a little bit and got a little too far underneath it.
And so for the first time in Joe Paterno's career at Penn State, the Nittany Lions have lost 5 games in a row. The Nittany Lions go to 2-7. For the Ohio State Buckeyes, ranked 6th in the BCS, the Buckeyes go to 8-1, 4-1 in the Big Ten. Their only loss to Wisconsin 17-10 3 weeks ago in the rain.
And they're still in the hunt. You've got to figure with everything that's going on, Miami and Virginia Tech tonight, of course, everybody in the country with one loss needs one of those teams, Oklahoma or Miami, to lose. But with the stretch run that Ohio State has, Purdue, Michigan State, Michigan, they're straight. The schedule's going to go up. They're going to go up in the polls if they win out.
Well, next week, the Buckeyes play Michigan State at Ohio Stadium in front of 102,000 friendlies. Let's go downstairs. Here's Sam.
Scott McMullen able to silence 108,000 people. But what was going through your mind when he attempted that 60-yarder?
I was just praying to God, he didn't make it. And, I just thank the Lord that he didn't.
Now, what goes on in your head when Craig Krenzel goes out like that? You've stepped up for him before in the past. You got it done tonight for the team.
That's pretty much, the way I've always prepared, in case he did go down with an injury, and like he did today, just to step in there and keep the offense rolling.
And you had a pretty reliable target in Michael Jenkins today. What about his play?
Oh, Michael Jenkins came up big for us. He made a spectacular catch there at the end of the game and won it for us.
What does this one mean to you?
This is huge, especially coming in, a place like Happy Valley, and they got a great coach in Joe Paterno, and just coming out with a win like this is really great.
Scott McMullen, congratulations. Tim?
Well, the Ohio State seniors had won in every stadium in the Big Ten except this one until tonight. 21-20, the Buckeyes beat the Nittany Lions of Penn State. We'll be back to Happy Valley, which is not so happy right now after this.